tower loomed, ominous against a fiery red sky. News broke that the Black Dragon Guild had attempted the 40th floor of the tower, confident they'd show off their skills. But the report continued, stating Black Dragon, another failure at becoming the world's first. The future of the guild is, sadly, they've once again returned empty-handed. The reporter announced, and once again the reason for Black Dragon's setback is none other than today's main character, the #1 ranked hunter. The news declared, once again Flame Emperor was able to beat the boss on his own. A reporter greeted the Flame Emperor, saying, "Hello, Mr. Flame Emperor." "Yes, yes. Hello. Without fail, you've once again set a new record." The reporter continued, "Since the appearance of the tower and until now, Mr. Flame Emperor, you're still the only one to defeat a boss on their own." The Flame Emperor reached out and grabbed the microphone, stating enough. The Flame Emperor, a tall man with long black hair and a red jacket, grabbed the microphone and asked, "Why don't you change my freaking title first?" He continued, "I'm talking about Flame Emperor. Why don't you use my name instead of this shitty nickname? What kind of name is Flame Emperor? Might as well just call me the Plague. Fucking embarrassing." The Flame Emperor looked down, saying, "I'm gonna find the guy who made this nickname and torture him." I apologize." He wanted to be able to say whatever he wanted. Someone checked HunterNet and saw a post. "Did you guys see Flame Emperor's interview? He's acting hot-headed again." Comments appeared, "The whole world is watching. He should watch his mouth." Another person said, "Why does his nationality matter at the tower? Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with his personality. He's already a legendary level hunter." Someone else added, "I want to be like Flame Emperor too." Someone replied, "The hell? Are you a Flame Emperor fan? Are you seriously protecting him for this?" Another person responded, "I'm only stating facts. Who doesn't know what he's like? The broadcasting companies already know, but they're still allowing it." Someone else said again, "I want to be like Flame Emperor too." Someone commented, "I don't know how Saint can date him with his personality. Is that why she's called the Saint?" Another person replied, "What? Saint is dating Flame Emperor?" Someone else said, "Yeah, my friend's a hunter and he said he saw them together." Then someone else commented, "I want to be like Flame Emperor too." Someone argued, "What are you talking about? Saint's my friend and she said it's not true." Another person repeated, "I want to be like Flame Emperor too." Someone posted on the Hunter forum, "BTW, who the hell is this guy who's been saying the same thing? I want to be like Yumya. I want to be like the Flame Emperor too." Someone kept spamming, "I want to be like the Flame Emperor too." Flame Emperor was on the mic then, "Mr. Flame Emperor, must be nice to have everyone interested in every word he says, and I heard he has a lot of assets. I'm so jealous." He then said, "Wow, you're still calling me Flame Emperor. I said to call me by my name." Someone thought, "If this world was a novel, a person like him would definitely be the main character." He thought, "And I would just be an extra." A reporter asked the Flame Emperor, "Mr. Flame Emperor, there are many aspiring hunters who look up to you and try their best." Newspapers reported on the Flame Emperor's success, awakening soon after entering the tower in his early 20s, defeating a boss monster that Black Dragon has tried to defeat for 10 years, less than a month after. A hunter who literally writes legends. The reporter asked, "Please tell your aspiring fans the key to success in one phrase." The Flame Emperor sighed. Someone worked at their computer. The Flame Emperor said, "Fine, I'm really just gonna say a few words so you guys figure it out." The Flame Emperor said, "Those who will succeed will succeed." The Flame Emperor continued, "But don't get in my way even if you succeed." The Flame Emperor finished, "Or I'll kill you." The reporters shouted, "F Flame Emperor." Someone watching the broadcast from their bed shouted, "Flame Emperor. What did you mean by that? Flame Emperor." With this, we will now end the broadcast. The broadcast ended abruptly, to the viewers who are watching. He was furious, tears welling in his eyes. "I'm so mad." He slammed his hand against the wall, covered in newspaper clippings. Is it okay to just ignore people when you become that great? It was the reporter who was being ignored, but it felt like I was. He stared at his hands. If I just had one decent skill like the Flame Emperor. He thought that if he had one decent skill, then he wouldn't need to live in his damned studio. He wouldn't be looked down on for being the lowest F-class hunter without a single skill. He wanted to become just like the Flame Emperor. He was so jealous, and wanted to succeed with his own skills too. He wondered how great it would be if the Flame Emperor's skill was his. He stared at the wall covered in newspaper clippings. He looked up confused. This is," he said, staring at something. He stared, realizing this is a scene that I've only seen 1,000 times in videos. It was a golden skill card. Could it be a skill card? A blue system window appeared before him. It said it was an unsightly envy that was yet to be found in history. A game panel appeared. The tower, astonished by your unsightly envy, throws you a skill. He was surprised. He noticed something different from the videos he had watched. A system window said, "The tower is moved by your determination. The tower rewards you for your honest efforts. The tower praises you for your achievements." He exclaimed, "Wait, this is different from what I saw in the videos." He shrugged. "No, why should I care about its tone when I just received a skill card?" He was excited. This is the moment I've been waiting for ever since I got here. On top of that, a gold card is. It's an S-rank skill. A skill card is generated, labeled I want to become like you. It's rank S+, and activates automatically upon death. After dying to the enemy, you can copy one of their skills and make it your own. You cannot copy a skill from targets that have already killed you previously. Skills are randomly copied. However, you die. You can copy one of the skills of someone who kills you and make it yours. However you die. The tower suddenly appeared in the world. You could see it on the horizon from anywhere in the world. Those who had nothing to lose were the first to set foot in the tower and see what was inside. Each floor of the tower was filled with monsters from another world, and for the select few visitors selected by the tower, skills appeared. A man falls towards a golden card. Those who heard the news gathered to the tower and started hunting the monsters. Hunters stand together, ready to hunt. The man recalled, "Once I saw the Flame Emperor fighting in the hunting grounds." He continued, "He was holding a flaming spear and it looked like he was dancing. He was like Nataraja. He felt like the embodiment of Shiva." The manager asked if they could watch something else, but the man insisted, saying, "Why? It's just getting good." The man asked, "Do you not like the Flame Emperor? Despite achieving rank 1, he's still the same. It's refreshing seeing someone not putting up a front." The manager replied, "No, it's not that." The man thought, "This kind of person is the hero that humanity needs right now. There are people with lives like that. So why is my life such an unlucky clusterfuck?" The manager called him a drunk fool. The man insisted, "Hear me out." He declared, "However, you will die. Yesterday, I got an S+ rank skill." He wondered, "But what kind of shitty-ass skill kills you when you use it? I didn't even report it to the Hunter Association, you know." He continued, "Because I'm too ashamed to tell anyone that this piece of crap is my skill." Then he vomited. The Hunter ranking for the day showed that Flame Emperor was first, Black Dragon, which was second, and Viper was third. He felt like his head was going to shatter and screamed. A woman with long black hair and a red jacket told him, "Please move aside, Mr. Flame Emperor." "Why are you suddenly?" The man in the red jacket smirked. "Wow, you're a great actor. If someone was watching, they'd really think you're the victim here." He looked at the woman with white hair and called her MS Saintess. He revealed, "I poisoned your drink." He continued, "Basilisk stomach acid. It's the poison you were planning on feeding me. Seriously, Tilda, if it weren't for my skills, things could have gone really wrong." The white-haired woman stammered, "That's a misunderstanding, Mr. Flame Emperor. I only desire to raid the tower together with you as a team." He said, "That's what I thought too, but I was wrong." The white-haired woman begged, "Please, let's settle this by talking. Let's clear up this misunderstanding." Another man watched them thinking, "What? Those two, weren't they dating? Was that not true? That's just what kind of couple has a conversation like that?" The Flame Emperor responded, "Talk it out. Sounds good to me. It'll also be gentlemanly of me. However, I will decide the rules of this conversation." The man watching thought, this was a struggle between someone that wants to murder and someone that doesn't want to get murdered. The man grabbed the white-haired woman by the neck and said, "I will be the one to ask questions. You just have to answer by nodding your head." He continued, "I have a lie detection skill, so don't you dare bullshit me. If you are honest during our talk, well, Tilda, I might give you the antidote." "Answer me. Who ordered you to kill me?" He asked, "Was it the Witch of Black Dragon?" The man watching thought, despite achieving rank 1, he's still the same. It's refreshing seeing someone not putting up a front. He continued to think, "That's what I thought. This kind of person is the hero that humanity needs right now." Suddenly, Saintess Isabel screamed, "Farewell, Saintess Isabel." The man watching laughed, "Ah ha ha ha." The man with orange eyes looked up, surprised, thinking, "Ah, hero." The man standing in front of the fire asked, "This guy?" The man on the ground yelled, "Murderer. Psychopath. Urgi." He thought, "I need to run away now." The man standing in front of the fire looked down. He smirked, "Oh, I thought I got rid of all the rats nearby, but there was one left over." The man looked shocked by his opponent's power. He thought, "Those are the eyes of a killer." The Saintess wasn't his first time. How many people has he killed up till now? He continued to think, a few dozen, a few hundred, or even... The man was sent flying backwards. "Ah," he shouted. He landed hard on the ground. He looked up confused. He noticed his feet were gone. "My feet," he said, horrified. The man screamed in terror. Crawling on the ground, he begged, "Please spare me. TCH shouldn't have ran. Please spare me. Mr. Flame Emperor, please." The Flame Emperor, with his long black hair pulled back in a ponytail, smirked. "Hey, did you see it?" The man, tears streaming down his face, stammered, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I saw nothing." The Flame Emperor asked, "What didn't you see?" The Flame Emperor grabbed him by the collar. "So on top of calling me Flame Emperor, you just happened to be at the right place at the right time and you didn't see anything." "Damn, that's so convincing. If I was even a bit of a fool, I would have believed you." The Flame Emperor threatened, "I won't tell anyone, please. If you don't want to become like the Saintess, answer properly." The man with long black hair and a red jacket smiled, saying, "A devil." He questioned, "Who sent you? Are you another one from Black Dragon?" The man he was holding thought, "I." The world became crazy over someone like this. The black-haired man realized, The lie detection skill. The man being held begged, I heard. You have it. If you use that, you'd know that I'm really nothing. The black-haired man stared intently. He continued, that was just bullshit though. Dongchun Daily, big donor revealed to be the rank 9 saintess. Youngwon Daily, saintess, the beautiful example of charity. Then, without any certainty, you killed her. Babylon, saintess volunteering for the 30th floor raid. The man with long black hair had the other man by the throat. The man being choked asked, just because she was a bit suspicious. The long-haired man grabbed him, energy crackling around his hand. He shouted, hey, how dare you say such hurtful things? Who do I look like? The man on the ground stammered, the saintess really did try to kill me. If I didn't kill her first, I would have been poisoned by her tomorrow. He asked, how do you know that? The long-haired man grinned, I just do. I have my ways. The man on the ground was relieved. And, since you're bringing up the lie detection, I guess you really must be innocent. Thank you. Thank you for believing in me. The long-haired man put his hand on the other man's head. However, you've already seen too much. Energy flared around the long-haired man's hand as he declared, so I need you to die. The long-haired man declared, my name is Yu Suha. Farewell. Someone shouted, Kim Gongya. A voice said, since your name is Gongya, you need to be someone as great as Confucius. The boy with spiky brown hair replied, yes, director. He thought, I don't want to die like this. A system window appeared, you have died. He wondered, why did I have to die like that? No. He thought, why did I have to live like that? A system message appeared, the condition for your skill has been fulfilled by your death. He thought, I could have lived a bit better. The system started randomly copying Hunter Yu Suha's skills. The system was creating skill cards. He felt he had the right to live a better life. Golden. The system prompted him to select a skill card. He wished, if I was given just one more chance. Just one more. Skill selection was complete, and the skill was copied. He suddenly woke up. It was Babylon News reporting live. News reported that the Black Dragon Guild had set out to raid the 40th floor of the tower. They boasted that they would show the skills of a top guild this time. Unfortunately, they came back empty-handed again. He sat up in bed saying, what in the? He looked shocked. The screen showed an announcement. Flame Emperor raided the Kim Gongya looked around, confused. What is happening? He was back in his room. When did I return home? He looked at his phone and saw the Flame Emperor's interview. The headline read, the Flame Emperor is being a flame retard again. The Flame Emperor was saying, why are you calling me with such a dumbass nickname when I have a proper name? Kim Gongya was shocked. Why is everyone saying the same things as yesterday? Kim Gongya remembered something. Just a moment ago. Kim Gongya held out his hand. Kim Gongya prepared to use his skill. Skill card. Open. The skill card revealed a new ability. I want to become just like you, rank S+. It automatically activates when killed by an enemy, copying one of their skills. He was shocked. This is... No way. Is this the Flame Emperor's skill I copied when I died? The skill was Returner's Winding Clock, rank X. It activates automatically on death, returning him 24 hours with memories and experience intact, but with a greater penalty the higher the rank. He had copied it from Yu Suha. He realized, I automatically return to the day before my death. He continued to think, while keeping my memories and experience points. The secret to becoming a legendary hunter was this. The Flame Emperor appeared saying, I just do. I have my ways. That's why he'd killed the Saintess. It's because he was actually poisoned by the Saintess the next day. He realized and, even me who was innocent. The man stands in his kitchen and says, then to end it off. Could I ask for one last phrase to the viewers? On the laptop screen, a man with long black hair and a red suit says, in the end, those who are destined to succeed will succeed. But even if you succeed, don't start beef with me. The man on the laptop continues, you will die. The man in the kitchen looks shocked and asks, die. The man clenches his fist, and golden energy crackles around it. He says, let's see who's the one that'll die this time. The chapter begins, fire. People stared out the window at the massive fire, exclaiming, oh no, what do we do? A man holding a fire extinguisher yelled, let's stop standing around and go put out the fire. Another man agreed, I agree. He thought about how this place, where he lived, was different from the outside world. It was a city built by people who entered the tower to become hunters. The scene showed the burning city on floor 1 of the tower. He checked his phone. What's the time right now? It was 6:37 p.m. He realized it was close to the time he was getting drunk the other day. He knew the fire was started by the Flame Emperor to destroy the evidence of his murder. Someone shouted, those with water abilities don't just use your skills by yourself. Coordinate with the others. Another person agreed, that's right. A woman with purple hair announced, the Black Dragon Guild will temporarily take command here. Everyone, please follow our orders for a moment. She was the rank 2 Black Dragon Guild Master, also known as the Black Witch. She added that there were a lot of names for this city. The rank 5 head of the Healer and Pharmacist Guild, Master Alchemist, announced, The area has been secured, but there might be survivors inside. Let's send in a rescue squad. The rank 10 leader of the city's vigilante corps paladin said. Some call it Babylon while others just call it Floor 1 City. That's not a problem. This place has been isolated for 5 years. We lucked out. Some even call it the City of Ascension, but it's essentially the same. A city that you can't leave once you step foot in. People shouted, bring more fire extinguishers. Are there no more water users? A man wondered. The residents of this city are all used to extreme situations like this. That's weird. Why has the Saintess not arrived yet? She isn't the type of person to be late to an emergency. Someone said she had something to do tonight. It's probably a date. I've seen her together with the Flame Emperor a lot lately. The woman with green hair said, I don't like him. Something about him creeps me out. Someone watching the fire said, Goddamn. A man with long black hair tied in a ponytail, wearing a red jacket, arrived and asked, Who's the one that played with fire without my permission? Someone noticed him, thinking he arrived. A man in armor greeted him. Thanks for coming, Flame Emperor. Yeah. Hyung Nim is on the scene. The armored man continued. As you can see, a fire started in the old slums. Are you able to help us? The Flame Emperor responded, What do I gain from helping? Someone nearby thought, that crazy psychopath. He dares ask for a reward when he's the one who started the fire. The armored man replied, You gain the goodwill of the public as the rank one that saved the day. The Flame Emperor asked, Do you think I care about what others think of me? The crowd around the Flame Emperor thought, Who cares about his personality anyways? He's already a legendary hunter. I'm just stating facts. It's not like people don't know he's that kind of a person. It's refreshing seeing someone not putting up a front. I refuse to do charity work. See ya. The armored man thought, no one knows. Everyone just thinks of the Flame Emperor as a slightly eccentric hero. The armored man realized, I'm the only one that knows his true nature as a cold-blooded killer. He knew what he had to do. I need to kill him, he thought. The armored man started walking towards the Flame Emperor. Someone noticed and asked, Where are you going, mister? The man tried to stop him, warning, It's dangerous to get close. The armored man pushed him away and continued walking, thinking, for humanity and for the honor of hunters. Hunters are people who are supposed to hunt monsters, regardless of the method. The man with the ponytail yelled, Mister, get your head on straight. The man with the ponytail watched the armored man walk towards the fire. He thought, that monster deserves to be exterminated. The armored man walked right into the fire as the ponytail man yelled, You're heading into the fire. The armored man screamed. The armored man felt the heat and screamed, It's hot. It hurts. He thought, but this is the only way to kill this monster. A blue screen appeared, You have died. Another blue screen appeared stating, You will return 24 hours back to the past. He was lying in bed as a news report played. This is Babylon News reporting live. The news continued, The Black Dragon Guild has set out to raid the 40th floor. He thought, good, the skill is working properly. A screen showed, You are currently an F-rank hunter. A screen showed, there is no penalty for the skill usage. He thought, so an F-rank like me doesn't even get a penalty. He realized that killing the Flame Emperor right now was impossible because even if he got lucky, the Emperor would just go back 24 hours into the past since he also had the same skill. So the only way for a lowly hunter like him to hunt the Emperor was to find out. The moment he awakened, he looked at a newspaper article titled, Exclusive Interview. The moment he awakened, he raid when was the first time you awakened. The interviewer asked the Flame Emperor, who was sitting across from her in a red suit, if he remembered the first time he awakened. The Emperor replied, It was the summer I was 21, so it's already been 11 years. The interviewer said that since he remembered it so clearly, he must have a good memory. The Emperor took a sip from his cup and said, That's not necessarily it. It's just that the day I awakened happened to be my birthday. So that was, the man with the knife calculated that it was 11 years ago, on June 7th, which meant it had been 4,050 days since then. He realized he had been dying 4,050 times. He gripped his sword tightly, resolving, I will return to the time before he awakened. He died. Time reset 24 hours. He thought, good now. Only 4,049 days left. He plunged the sword downwards. He died again. He died again. Gasping, he reset time again. Kagi. He was kneeling, looking at the newspapers on the wall. A system message appeared, There is no penalty for the skill usage. Then he died again. You have died. 2,020 days. Then again, you have died. 543 days. He thought finally. He smiled, holding the sword. The clock ticked. Kim Gong-ya lay on the bed, holding a knife. He sat up. Kim Gong-ya sat on the bed. He looked at the newspapers on the wall. He thought, I did it. Kim Gong-ya gripped the knife tightly. Kim Gong-ya sighed, I came back to a time before the legend of the Flame Emperor began. Kim Gong-ya thought, I died 30 times more than the originally planned 4,050. He continued, that's including the time that it took to kill myself, as well as taking breaks here and there. Kim Gong-ya smiled, holding a knife. I held on all that time to prove that the legend of that devil isn't eternal. He walked forward. Kim Gong-ya opened the door. Kim Gong-ya put on his hood. He thought, time to go find my first prey. It was 11 a.m. on May 6th. 11 years ago. The sun shone on the building. A hooded man stood outside the window. A man in bed heard his alarm and groaned, "Good morning, bop 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 UGH." He sat up, holding his head. "My head hurts like hell." He looked at his phone and said, "I shouldn't have drunk so much last night." He stretched, thinking, to formulate a perfect plan. I've repeated this day 10 times. Without fail, every day at 9 a.m., he woke up in the F-rank dormitory. He gets up saying, "Time to go to work. Goddamn life." At 3 p.m., he catches slimes in the second-floor hunting ground. He sighs, "Damn, it's boring as hell catching slimes all day, every day." The 21-year-old F-rank hunter thinks, "Fucking hell, and will I get to live an awesome life like the Sword Saint?" He is just an average F-rank hunter wishing for a golden ticket. He wonders, could I win the lottery or something? Or at least get an S-rank skill? Normally, his wishes would come true a week later. He cries out, but that kind of future isn't coming to a guy like him anymore. He's covered in blood. It's 5:31 p.m. Yusuha decides that he won't get anywhere just catching slimes, so he moves to a difficult higher area that beginner hunters seldom go to. "Take me to floor 6. Moving to the floor 6 hunting grounds, he arrived at the floor 6 hunting grounds, a place where he'd be alone for the next 36 minutes. Suddenly, he heard a voice. "Excuse me." The man turned around, hearing someone call him Mr. Hunter. A bloodied man in a white hoodie begged, Please help me. I got attacked by wolves. Give me a potion." The hunter glared at him, asking, "Goddamn what? Did you already fuck with the monster here?" He continued, "That means there's no point in hunting here today. Please, a potion." "What goddamn potion? I won't even get to fulfill my daily quota." He looked at the injured man and asked, "How much will you give me?" "Pardon?" The man asked the injured guy, "How much will you give me for the potion?" The injured man replied, "My hunt's been ruined, yet I need to give this expensive potion for free to a stranger I just met. Don't you have morals?" The injured man continued, "You don't seem to understand the situation here. It's sold at the Alchemy Castle. For 20 gold. I'll give you 2 to 20 gold. So please." The man asked, "You're on death's door, yet you only want to pay 20 gold. Is your life only worth 20 gold?" The injured man offered, then 4 to 40 gold, but the man refused, saying, "Nah." The man demanded, "Just give me all you've got. I'd known already." "Oh right, you want to give it to me, but you can't even use your hands. Don't worry, I'll take it for you." The man realized that he was this kind of person and said, "Let's see." The man counted the gold in his victim's wallet. 1, 2, 3, roughly 60 gold. "Dang dude, why are you so poor? Carry around more money." The injured man was shocked that his money was being taken. That's my entire savings." The man smiled, "Don't worry, I'll spend it well. Isn't that how life works?" The injured man asked about the potion that he was promised. Then, the potion. The man thought about it. "I thought about it a bit." He continued, "But if I let you go, you might come after me for revenge later. I need to be able to live without worries. But since you've seen my face..." The man lunges forward, purple energy crackling around him. "Worries? Why don't you go ahead and die?" He strikes his opponent. The man counters with a kick, shouting, "Okay, I'll live without worries." The first man stumbles back, saying, "Fucking hell." The other man attacks again. His eyes glow red. He pants, covered in blood, still clutching his sword. Gasp! Gasp! The man thrusts the spear downward, saying, "To prevent the 1 in a million chance that you awaken to your life being threatened." He continues, "I'll make sure to properly send you off." The spear plunges into the ground. He sighs, "Phew." He stands over the body and says, "Yusuha." He thinks, "Having killed me is whatever, but there was something weird that bothered me." He continues in his thoughts, "Why you told me your name at that moment? My name is Yusuha. Farewell." Yusuha, covered in blood, his expression filled with rage, shouts, "I realized it after 4,090 days. You bastard." He continues, "Despite just being a cold-blooded killer, you wanted to pretend that you were a knight in a sacred duel." A man with slicked back hair and a red suit sneers, "How fucking dare you?" Suha's face is contorted with anger as he yells, acting righteous after killing all those innocent people. Suha stands before a pack of large red wolves. One of them asks, "You guys want to eat him, right?" One of the wolves tells the others, "I don't need him. Go for it." The wolves attack Suha. Suha is sent flying through the air. He hits the ground hard. Suha's bag lands next to him. Suha struggles to get up. He grabs his bag. He zipped up his jacket. He found himself in a forest. To floor 1. A portal opened up. Is it really over? Moving to floor 1 city. He arrived in a city alleyway. A knight stood guard. It's the vigilante corps. The knight stared down at him. The knight stood tall. He looked past the knight at the city. "Oh, it's over." No one knew what happened, but the Floor 10 raid team suffered another defeat. Criticism of the Sword Saint was growing. This was because of his refusal to participate in the raid, despite being rank 1. The terrible legend of Flame Emperor Yusuha was no more. He called out, "Manager, can I get another pint of beer?" The manager asked if he wasn't drinking quite a lot and wondered if his hunt went well today. Yusuha replied, yes. It went well. It went super well. Even though all the hunters from rank 7 to rank 2 went out together to challenge the 10th floor, some were calling it a useless ranking system. He told the system to open his hunter status window. Kim Gongya opened his hunter status window. His name was Kim Gongya and his rank was F. He had 2 skills. I want to become just like you S+, and Returner's Winding Clock X. Both were passive. He smiled, looking at his skills. It tastes so sweet, just looking at these precious skills. Kim Gongya realized, I don't have a combat skill. Is this what they call human greed? He told himself, Kim Gongya, you're being shameless if you want any more than this. Let's just think about what's possible with the skills I've got. He thought about his options. I could win the Merchant Guild Sangryan's lottery, 25, 37, 44, 45, or I could sell the clearing method for the upper floors that no one knows yet. Dang, things are finally looking good for me. He wondered, now what should I do from here on out? A man in a suit and fedora walked in. Milk. The man in the suit said, please just mix a little bit of vodka and sugar with warm milk. It'd be even better if it's honey and not sugar. The bartender replied, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not a bartender. What a strange old man. I'll make sure to pay properly. Don't worry about that. Another man in the bar recognized him. Hey, that guy. Is it really him? Why is he here? During these times, for the morale of the hunters, there was a lot of public opinion that they needed to cooperate. So where was the Sword Saint, and what was he doing? The man who recognized him looked shocked. An article from Babylon Daily talks about the Sword Saint, whose real name is Marcus Callenberry, and how it has been 22 days since his disappearance. The article questions if this is the occurrence of the worst chaos in the hunter industry, and mentions that a lot of people have forgotten him 11 years later, as it's been a long time since his disappearance. The article says that until the Flame Emperor rose to fame, Marcus was the true number 1 of the tower. Kim Gongya thinks that Marcus would be the strongest in this time. Kim Gongya thinks that the old man has a lot of S-rank skills, not some weird skill like his but proper combat ones. He looks at his skill, I want to become just like you, which is rank S+. The effect is automatically activated when killed by an enemy. He copies one of the skills of the enemy that killed him and makes it his, but he may not copy from an opponent he's already copied from. The copied skill is selected randomly, and he will die. Kim Gongya wonders if this skill will let him copy a skill from any hunter as long as he dies to them. He asks if he can copy even the skills of the current rank 1. The white-haired man sat on the clock and said, and now I can't even die. The man looked at his phone. This seems quite doable, doesn't it? The man read posts about the rank 1 player. One said, I heard that he was the head of a rich North European family. Another said, it seems no one really knows what skills he has. And another, apparently even though he had all the fortune and connections one could ever want, he abandoned it all to come to the tower. He continued reading, what? I heard this from someone else, but apparently he has a habit of talking to himself. The man thought, this guy, he's completely shrouded in mystery. There is no useful information, they're all rumors. He looked at a poster of the best hunter and thought, it would have been great if he was even half the attention WH*re that Flame Emperor was. The white-haired man turned around and said, shut up. Don't be so loud. The man with dark hair was spooked, mumbling, to begin with, did you even? The white-haired man asked, understand, S feelings. The dark-haired man thought, at least the rumors about him talking to himself are true. Does there always have to be something wrong with the rank I? He read on his phone, caution a word that should never be spoken in front of the Sword Saint. The phone continued, this is a 100% true story that I witnessed with my own eyes. If you don't want to die, never say this to the Sword Saint. A muscular man with a tattoo on his arm said to the white-haired man, hey old man, this is a communal hunting ground, let's follow the rules, okay? The muscular man continued, can't you see that we've already claimed this spot as ours? Someone else thought, a few days ago some high rankers picked a fight with the Sword Saint on the floor 9 hunting grounds. That's odd. I never heard about such a thing. The muscular man pointed and said, either it's time for you to get some new hearing aids, or you didn't hear it because you're so full of yourself. The man continued, looking at you, I bet the grandchildren you left behind must also have shit personalities. Someone asked, you're saying the Sword Saint committed murder. Another person asked, are you part of a large guild? Aren't you just spreading bad rumors? The man replied, think what you will. I just wanted to share it since I thought you guys should know about it as well. Someone reading on their tablet said, anyways, if you don't want to die, don't talk about his grandchildren in front of the Sword Saint. The man on the tablet continued, something I should never say in front of him. The Sword Saint shouted, silence. I'll take care of it, so leave it alone. I need to test this out. I can't drink my vodka because of you. The man throws some coins on the table, saying, thank you, owner, it was a good drink. The bell rings as the man leaves. The owner says, yes, yes. Have a nice day. The bar is filled with people. The owner thinks he finally left. Does he have Alzheimer's? Why was he mumbling so much? Damn, that was such a mood killer. A customer pays his tab saying, thank you for the drink. Here's my tab. The owner replies, thank you very much. Come again. Now, standing in the street, the man thinks, Where are you, Rank Roman 2? The man wonders, where did he go? He thinks, I followed him out right away so he couldn't have gone that far. He spots the man in the distance. Found him. The man stares intently. He thinks, since he's the only one dressed like that in Babylon, he's pretty easy to find. He wonders, I wonder what skills he has. He thinks about the Flame Emperor. The Flame Emperor had an EX rank returner skill. So what will the Sword Saint, who'd succeeded even before the Flame Emperor, have? He thought about the Sword Saint's potential skills. Could he have a skill that's even more of a cheat than returning? He grinned, thinking that skill is about to be mine. I just need a bit of luck. He stopped in a grassy area. This place should be adequate. He turned around, looking surprised. A man in a blue suit and hat stood in front of him. He told him to come on out, young man. He peeked from behind a tree. He knew my location right away. Out here, no one will know what happened. The man stared intently. The man in the tracksuit said, please excuse my rudeness. I just wanted to ask the Sword Saint for a favor. The older man in the suit made a noise and said, "Heh." The old man asked, "A favor?" The old man continued, "Didn't you do a poor job following me on purpose so that I would notice you?" The old man asked, "Why are you asking for a favor from a common old man in such a scary manner?" The man in the tracksuit thought, I think he's misunderstood that I purposely let him detect me. The man in the tracksuit thought, and I'm not particularly armed or anything. The man in the suit held a sword, ready to attack. He thought, but he's holding a sword, as if he's about to attack me. He wondered, even though all I did was tail him. This is a convenient situation for me, but what's the cause? The older man in the blue suit said, "You're quite an amazing actor." As expected of a first-class assassin, the man in the tracksuit was confused. Pardon? The man in the tracksuit thought, how? An F-rank like me? The older man continued, "Congrats, Kim Gong-ya. You can die without insulting his grandchildren." The man in the tracksuit replied, I'm sorry, but I don't quite follow." The older man said, "How shrewd. Acting even now. But you can't fool my eyes." The man in the tracksuit, standing a distance away from the older man, pleaded, Please, Gramps. I'm asking because I really don't know." The older man looked down at him, and the man in the tracksuit asked, "How do I look like a first-class assassin?" "I'm actually quite proud of how normal I look." The older man's sword hovered over the man in the tracksuit's head as he commanded, "Shut your mouth." The older man thought, "I possess many skills. Among them is..." The older man thought about his skill that can see how many people one has murdered. He knew, that's right. As justified as it was, murder is murder. The man in the tracksuit realized, I might know that the person I killed would have become a monster, but it's true that I don't have an excuse to give the people of this time period. The man in the tracksuit was scared. The man in the tracksuit thought, I bet the Sword Saint can see the number 1 on top of my head. Okay, I understand, Mr. Sword Saint. The man in the tracksuit says, as much as IT sounds like I'm making excuses, please hear me out. I committed such an act with good reason. He continues, I can swear to the heavens. The Sword Saint glares at him and says, you disgust me. The Sword Saint continues, a devil like you that has murdered countless people wants to bring up reason. The Sword Saint says, I haven't particularly lived an honest life either, but I at least haven't commit Ted's senseless mass murder like you. The man in the tracksuit is shocked. He stammers, Mom-ass murder Gramps. In my entire life, the only one I. The man with the sword said, you keep lying without any shame. He continued, for the number of people you have murdered till now. The man on the ground looked up at him. I can clearly see the number 4091 on top of your head. The man with the sword responded, He admitted, I killed Yusuha once. He continued, and I killed myself 4090 times to get to the past. The man on the ground asked, no. Did the Witch of the Black Dragon send you? He knew that he was seen as a mass murderer, responsible for the deaths of 4091 people. He thought, this isn't an issue of copying a skill or not. He wondered, will you not answer me? Then as long as the Sword Saint has that skill. He decided, that's all right. It wasn't an important question. He knew that no matter when the Sword Saint encountered him, he would try to kill him. He thought, the Sword Emperor slashes at Kim Gong-ya. Kim Gong-ya dodges the Sword Emperor's blade, narrowly escaping the attack. The Sword Emperor is surprised. You could dodge my blade. As expected of a first-class assassin, Kim Gong-ya thinks, this deaf fucking geezer. The Sword Emperor stomps on Kim Gong-ya. Kim Gong-ya is sent flying. Argy. Kim Gong-ya lies on the ground thinking, I can't. The first time was pure luck. The Sword Emperor raises his sword. Kim Gong-ya realizes, I can't dodge it another time. Kim Gong-ya thinks, shut up. The Sword Emperor asks, you want to interrogate him? This devil. The Sword Emperor continues, didn't I tell you I'll take care of it? The Sword Emperor shouts, stop interfering with everything I do. It seems too much like a conversation to be schizophrenia. Is that a part of his skill? Kim Gong-ya realizes, no way. Telepathy. The The Sword Emperor thinks, I've heard rumors that skills like that exist. The Sword Emperor wonders, then, is he sharing information about me with other people? That there's a murderer who killed 4,091 people here. He realized, then I'd become a wanted man in the eyes of the Hunter Association. He continued, and I'll be hunted down by big guilds and high-ranked bounty hunters, until I'm publicly executed on floor 1 of the tower. He knew I can't have that happen. He thought, I need to die right now, before 24 hours pass. Old man, he told the old man, don't bother. I've already made up my mind. Even if you are my teacher. Are your grandkids doing well? He continued, I heard you're from a nice family in North Europe. You know how things are with those kinds of families. He finished, the outside world is dangerous, you know. The old man's sword cut through the air with a flash of blue light. He asked, if people find out their grandpa is the Sword Saint, what do you think will happen? The boy was sent flying. As he fell, the boy looked up at the sky. Has the moon always been upside down? He gasped as he stared at the moon. Beautiful. He was amazed by the swordsmanship he had just witnessed. I couldn't even see his last strike. How can I get to that level? He was determined. I want to be like him. He watched the hunter's strike and thought, I'm envious. He continued watching the hunter and thought, I also. He clenched his fist thinking, wanna have that strike. Suddenly a screen appeared, you have died. A blue system window appeared before him. The condition for your skill has been fulfilled by your death. Another system window appeared, creating skill cards. He thought finally. A final system window appeared. Please select a skill card. He said, I'll have the skills of 2 different rank I hunters. All right, where's that golden card? He thought, I'll just pick one like I did with the Flame Emperor. He reached out to grab a card. He paused, looking at the cards floating before him. He stared at the cards. He wondered why. Isn't there a golden card? He realized something and he said, wait. He thought, are you telling me? He learned that unlike the Flame Emperor, the sword legend St. Marcus Callenberry achieved his legend without a single S-rank skill. He thought, no way. He was sure that there had to be something overpowered in one of the silver cards. There were 3 shit-colored cards, and 4 silver cards, ignoring the shitty ones. His chances were 1 out of 4. He saw that the kill count skill was also among the skills he could copy. That kill count skill is probably among these 2. He didn't want that skill. I don't want that. Give me a cheat. He begged, saying he'd never ask for anything again. Come on, I'll never ask for anything ever again. He got the skill behind the Sword Saint's success. A system window appeared, announcing that the skill selection was complete and the skill was being copied. He would return 24 hours to the past. Time flowed. He woke up in his bed, gasping. He looked up, confused. He thought, open hunter status window. Did I get it? Sword Saint's main skill. The status window showed, Returner's Winding Clock X, passive and Sword Thrown a plus, passive. He said, well, at least it's a plus. It doesn't seem like the kill count skill either. He lay back in bed, disappointed. But another passive. Man tilde, I wanted a cool active like a rare martial arts skill or aura awakening. He sat up again. Well, I guess I shouldn't complain about an A+ skill. Skill card open. The skill card showed Sword Thrown A+. He said, I can't tell what it does just from the name. He looked up annoyed. What's with all this noise? He wondered what was going on. A man with long red hair said, Gramps, I've told you this before. Go outside if you want to train in the middle of the night. He added, let's be a little more respectful. The Sword Emperor says, Gramps is your master, I've told you this before. Go outside if you want to train in the middle of the night. Sword Emperor continues, let's have some basic manners. Kim Gongya replies, I'll be pulled to you if you go far away enough. I've told you there's no need to wake me up. Excuse me. The Sword Emperor is now standing over Kim Gongya, who asks, who are you? The Sword Emperor asks, you can see me. Kim Gongya replies, yes. And you can hear me. I'd assume so since we're having a conversation. The Sword Emperor replies, what? Weird. That's not supposed to happen. The Sword Emperor looks around, confused. Where the hell am I? Why is it so small here? Where the hell is Marcus? He then asks Marcus, Callenberry, are you talking about the Sword Saint? The Sword Emperor scoffs, yeah, that title is too much for a beginner like him though. He continues, but yeah, I'm talking about the grandpa that goes by that name. Where is he? He should be around here somewhere. The protagonist is surprised. The Sword Saint is a beginner. The Sword Emperor tries to look out the window. I can't see anything out of this small-ass window. What? A system window appears. Sword Thrown rank A+. It reads that he cleared his world's tower up to floor 99, but failed on the 100. Unsatisfied, he was unable to give up his earthly desires and has become a spirit. He can't physically affect anything in this world, but is able to communicate with the holder of this skill. It says to be awestruck by his skill and experience and ask him for advice. The window continues, saying that only the holder of this skill is able to feel his presence, and that it was copied from Marcus Callenberry. The protagonist is shocked. From another world, and he's a ghost. The red-haired spirit asks, excuse me, but were you the Sword Saint's guardian spirit? He adds, I guess. The protagonist says, I'm sorry, but he continues, I think I accidentally cloned you. The spirit is furious. The spirit yells, return me to Gramps right now. The spirit continues, you said you copied me with your skill, right? Then you can cancel it too. Don't you know how refunds work? Everything should be refundable in this day and age. The protagonist replies, I told you it's not something I can control, didn't I? The muscular man with red hair yelled, Marcus, you stupid disciple. Your master has been kidnapped by some loser kid. Can you stop crying upside down? I'm going to get a heart attack. He continued, this happened because that stupid disciple didn't respect his master enough. I told him to worship the ground that I walked on. Excuse me, can we please just live quietly? Live, I'm already. A voice said dead. Okay, then can you please quietly die? The red-haired man shouted, I've never been this disrespected in my life. Everyone, look at this bastard badmouthing the dead. It wasn't enough that I already died once, huh? The man in the suit said, what kind of ghost talks this moo, be quiet. The man in the suit said, shut up. You're interfering too much. Marcus sighed. Marcus thought, not only do I have to hide from the sword saint, but I also got this dumbass skill. Hide from Gramps. Why would you do that? He may not look IT, but he's pretty nice. Marcus thinks that he already knows not to mention the Sword Saint's grandkids. The red-haired man tells Marcus, you know one of his skills is seeing people's kill count. Marcus asks, the eye of the detective or whatever. What about it? It's a garbage skill that only really helps figure out who's an assassin and who's not. The red-haired man says, the number on my head is 4091. Marcus, shocked, asks, what? Are you crazy? The red-haired man says, you're a total amateur. An amateur among amateurs. Doesn't seem like you know how to use aura either. How would someone like you kill 4091 people? Marcus says, because I didn't kill 4091 people. I only killed one person who would have become a tyrant in the future. He revealed, 4090 is the amount of times I've killed myself. He continued, I returned from 11 years in the future to kill that guy. He explained, I have a skill to copy a random skill from people who kill me, and I received the returner skill when that guy killed me. So when I die, I just return to 24 hours before I am killed, he said. He declared, I'm technically an immortal. He added, I wanted to get back at him and he was our rank 1, but you couldn't even kill him as long as he had his revival skill. So I came here to before he got his skill. The man with red hair asked, so you turned back time to get revenge on one person? The red-haired man asked if he had committed 11 years' worth of suicide. The red-haired man asked for his name. He replied, it's Kim Gongya. The red-haired man asked, Gongya, why did you pick that Gramps? Gongya answered, why did you decide to steal his skill as soon as you'd finished your revenge? Because he was number 1. The fastest way to get stronger would be to take the strongest people's skills. The red-haired man responded, the reason you're being honest, Gongya finished his sentence, is probably because the skill card told you that no one other than you can feel my presence. There's no way I could tell anyone else, right? He confirmed, well, yeah. The red-haired man told Gongya to stand up. He continued, you have enough perseverance, I guess your body would be okay with some exercise. You also have enough ambition. Gongya wondered what he was up to, but the red-haired man thought, I guess it's not bad. He leaned in close to Gongya and said, hey Gongya. He told him, let me see you hunt some monsters. They were now in a forest at night. Gongya asked, you just want me to kill a couple of them? He confirmed, yeah. Gongya held a knife, ready to strike. He thought then. He slashed at the red mass. Gongya continued to attack. The red mass was hit. Gongya kept attacking. Gongya continued to attack. The man with red eyes said, yep, I knew it. He asked, knew what? The red-eyed man said, back when I was alive, I was known as the Sword Emperor. I was born in a different world. He continued, and a tower rose in that world in which I quickly rose to the top. A system message appeared, explaining that the Flame Emperor became a legend after clearing floor 40 of another world's tower, and reached floor 99, but failed on the 100. Unsatisfied, he was unable to give up on his earthly desires, and became a spirit. He cannot physically affect anything in this world, but can communicate with the holder of the skill. The message urged him to be awestruck by his skill and experience, and ask him for advice. He thought that clearing floor 99 was crazy. The red-haired man said, when you get to my level, you can gauge talent at a glance. The talent for becoming a hunter. That's why I wanted to see you hunt. He looked at the man. He replied, then you've wasted your time. The red-haired man stood with his arms crossed as the dark-haired man said, because I have no talent for fighting. The red-haired man responded, bullshit. He continued, you have talent. An immense one, in fact. The dark-haired man said, you're just making fun of me, aren't you? The red-haired man explained, of course, you have no talent for martial arts. Your moves are too clumsy, your body isn't trained, and you don't even seem close to sensing your aura. The red-haired man added, but you have a talent that no one else has. He explained, you're not afraid of death. Normally, people instinctively protect themselves when they fight, but surprisingly, you don't have that instinct at all. He He wondered if his fearlessness even counted as a talent, since it probably disappeared while you were dying more than 4,000 times. The man replied, of course, talent isn't something you have to be born with. He continued, anyone can gain a talent at any time in their lives, and one of the hardest to get is transcending the fear of death. He thought, it's incredible. He realized, no one has ever told me something like that. He thought, not even myself. He remembered, I just couldn't stand being treated like a bug by the Flame Emperor. He remembered how he couldn't stand being treated like a bug by the Flame Emperor, to the point where he killed himself 4,000 times. He said that death became his talent. The red-haired man asked him what he was thinking when he died to Gramps. He replied, I thought it was beautiful. The red-haired man said, ha. He started laughing. The man said that it was interesting, very interesting and good. The man asks, you said your ability is to copy and not steal, right? He continues, then Marcus still has another me as his guardian spirit. He says, I want to see which one of you will become a greater hunter. The red-haired man smiles, saying, I'll help you. He continues, to a point where you can stand toe-to-toe with Gramps. No, to a point where you can reign on top of him. The Sword Emperor screamed, hey, Gongya, why aren't you up yet? Kim Gongya was still asleep, thinking 5 more minutes. The Sword Emperor yelled, you're slacking off. That old man Marcus might be clearing the 10th floor as we speak, and you want 5 minutes. Kim Gongya turned over and covered his ears, and the Sword Emperor shouted, huh, are you really covering your ears? The Sword Emperor threatened, I'm going to sing songs from my hometown until you wake up. Just so you know, I learned sound martial arts while I was alive. The Sword Emperor continued, I could decapitate at least 30 heads with a single verse. Do you even know what time it is? Kim Gongya finally woke up and the Sword Emperor asked, what time is it then? Kim Gongya held up his phone showing the time. It's still 4 a.m., you crazy asshole. The Sword Emperor with his long red hair retorted, even bugs start crawling at 4 a.m. Since you're weaker than a bug, you should wake up earlier. Kim Gongya shot back, you're just saying that because you're bored from your inability to sleep. He continued, I'd always wondered why the Sword Saint trained at 4 a.m. every morning. Turns out it's not because he was hardworking, but because you annoyed the sleep out of him. All right, I woke you up because I was bored. Happy. The Sword Emperor pointed at him, saying, thanks to that, you get to wake up early and train, so be thankful. Now get up and bow down to me. I want to kill you. Kim Gongya smirked. I'm already dead, so you can't kill me. If you have a problem with IT, why don't you try dying yourself? The Sword Emperor looked annoyed. Oh right. You can't die even if you want to. You zombie-ass motherfucker. From today on, your name is Zombie Kim. Damn IT. The Guardian Spirit floats next to Zombie Kim as he runs down the street. The Guardian Spirit says, hey zombie, let me remind you again. Other than your perseverance, you don't have any talent. I prefer to start teaching from the basics, but you're not at a level where that's possible yet. You're somehow a tier below being able to learn the basics. It's been 4 days since he copied the Sword Throne skill from the Sword Saint. He killed Yusuha one more time since then, and he avoided the Sword Saint as much as possible. The Guardian Spirit says, in terms of potential, you're like a bottomless black hole. Dang, that's so cool. I'm so jealous. Don't distract me while. Phew, I'm running. The Guardian Spirit explains, I'm currently following the training routine that the Guardian Spirit made for me. That's why I'm saying you need special guidance. And in order to receive special guidance, you need to pay the high tuition. The muscular man with red hair grinned, hey zombie, let's go win the lottery. He explained that there was a guild called Sangryang. Their official name was Merchants Union. The guild master was the rank 3 hunter, Countess. She was the only one who possessed the skill that let the user trade with the outside world. Due to this cheat skill, Sangryang had a monopoly on the tower's economy. A man with a cat-eared hat greeted them, thank you for coming to Sangryang. What can I help you with? And it became the only place in Babylon that sold lottery tickets. The man smiled, I came to collect my lottery winnings. The lottery worker, who was wearing cat ears, exclaimed, Ah tilde, you won our Sangryang happiness lottery. Congratulations. Haha, it's nothing. He then wondered aloud, hey, I've always been curious, but do you know why they're always wearing cat ears? I hear their guild master is a cat lady. The man with cat ears continued, she likes cats so much that she makes regular people wear cat ears. I can guarantee that she's a pervert. Have you double-checked the date? You can't redeem a ticket that you bought more than 2 years ago, Tilda. The man replied, this is the first thing I did after getting the Guardian Spirit. That's fine. I bought this last week. He thought, the Sword Spirit said that I needed some starting capital, so I needed to win the lottery at least once. The lottery worker said, all right, Tilda, can I check your identifica? The lottery worker was shocked. The lottery worker stared at the ticket. FL. Sangryang Happiness Lottery first place prize 53,000 G. Previous winners 43,000 G, 41,000 G, 49,000 G. The clerk looked surprised. First place. The red-haired man smiled. Wow, Tilda, making money is pretty easy, huh? The clerk said, I've confirmed your number. See, can you give us a second? I'll call the manager right away, sir. The red-haired man replied, yeah, take your time. He turned to Suha. Hey zombie, what if you get robbed in an alleyway or something? Suha thought, before I returned to this time, you Suha had also used this skill to win some lotteries. There was something I learned from that. This isn't something that can be hidden, even if you. Suha thought, if it's going to be revealed one way or another, it's safer to just be open about it. If a winner is attacked, the party that takes the hardest hit is the Sangryan Guild. A voice said, thank you for waiting. A man in a suit and a cat ear hat said, I'm the manager here, Arthur Taylor. Arthur, the manager with the cat ear hat, said, I'm also known as Safekeeper. Please feel free to call me by my alias. I'm Gongya. That's a fitting nickname for this guild. Gongya continued, if he has an alias, he's a ranker who's at least in the top 300. He laughed, haha. I hear that often. Come with me to the upper floors. A voice said, normally, an F-class like me would never get a chance to associate with a ranker, but today is different. Because I'm a customer worth 50,000 G. The red-haired man smiled. I feel like you get impressed a little too easily because you've never received this kind of treatment before. The red-haired man continued, you were even touched when I told you that you were talented last night. I felt a little bad. The other man, annoyed, thought, can't you shut up for like 1 second? The red-haired man grinned. You shouldn't be such a pushover. Take after me. Just believe everyone in the world exists for you to step on. The other man thought, are all the people with Emperor in their names a psychopath? They're people I never want to take after. The man with the cat hat asked, sir, is there something wrong? The man with the cat hat said, it's nothing. I was just spacing out for a second. That's a relief you had a concerned face. I was wondering if anyone treated you rudely before I got there. The brown-haired man thought, is he an angel? So easy. The man with the cat hat said, this is the VIP room. And the man with the cat hat said, this is the prize that you won. The man with the cat hat presented a mountain of gold and said, 53,000 gold. The man with the cat hat said, this is gold that equates to over $5 million where I come from. He swallowed hard. He thought that with this amount of money, he could take it all or leave it to the Sangryan Guild safe. He realized he could probably live comfortably for the rest of his life, and that if success was his goal, then he'd already achieved it. He wondered, what would you like to do? But he had decided to reign over this tower as a hunter, so money was just a small step. He thought he'd already experienced a far more beautiful gold before. He decided, I'll keep it in the Sangryan safe. The man with the cat hat said, wise decision. I personally recommend that all the winners do. The man continued, I understand that they want to take it with them, but there are bad people. The young man said, and I'd like to buy Sangryan's honorary guild member title. He continued, it takes 10,000 gold to become a second-class honorary member, right? I'll pay up front. The man with the cat hat asked, do you not yet have a guild you're a member of, sir? The young man replied, yeah. The muscular man with red hair grinned, saying, you're smarter than I thought. He explained that a guild isn't just a simple friend group for hunters. He continued, they want to be protected. You're quite clever. The man smirked. He went on, there are the guards and the Hunter Association, but the city is too wild to rely on just the two of them. You can tell that from how the Flame Emperor and the Sword Saint killed me recently. He added that the Flame Emperor was never bound to a guild and was proud of his freedom, saying, he won the lottery twice, but he probably never paid a protection fee to anyone. Someone of his rank, he continued, rejecting all the guilds was bound to get on some of their nerves. That's why he almost got poisoned. He stated that there's no need to worsen his relationship with the big guilds just yet, and that he won't be foolish like the Flame Emperor before adding, one more thing. The other man replied, yes. Anything is fine. He asked if he could get a nice place to stay, saying, I live in a cheap one-bedroom right now. I'll give you the rent. So can you get me a nice place to stay at? He continued, and if any news outlet asks who the first place winner was, can you please let them know that it was an anonymous honorary member of the Sangryan Guild? The man with the cat ear had just stared at him. The man with red hair laughed, saying, you're very prepared, sir. Lol. Look at his face. The man with short brown hair replied, he probably thought that you were a pushover. I mean, it's a big world out there. Gotta at least do a little bit of preparation. Who was the one who called me a pushover again? The red-haired man feigned ignorance. Did I say that? I don't remember. You're correct, sir. That dumbass emperor. The red-haired man put his hand on the shoulder of the man with short brown hair, saying, well, I guess you're managing pretty well on your own. I thought I'd need to change your diapers too. The red-haired man smirked, saying, I'd hate you less if you didn't speak. Man. The man with short brown hair looked back at him. You look pretty happy too. He clenched his fist, thinking, of course, it's only just beginning. He thought about the 4,000 deaths. He remembered returning 400 days into the past, and that he couldn't relish the power because he was focusing on his story is crazy, but you know what sucks? Waiting a week for the next chapter. Stop waiting and get the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook for completely free on Amazon. It is the highest rated series I have ever seen. With over 180,000 positive reviews, it has everything we love. Dungeons, systems, and a crazy talking cat. And the best part, it usually costs $25, but you get it for free. And it is yours to keep forever. Click the Amazon link in the description description to start listening. The Flame Emperor looks down at Kim Gongya, saying, "Hey zombie, I told you that tuition is the most important part of my lessons, right?" The Flame Emperor continues, "And you just got enough to pay for it. What do you think is the next step?" "A competent teacher." The Flame Emperor says, he's already in front of you." "Shameless." The Flame Emperor says that it's textbooks. The Flame Emperor explains that there are scrolls to teach martial arts skills or potions to boost physical abilities. The Flame Emperor tells Kim Gongya, "But at your level, you won't be able to learn anything by reading a scroll. So the only thing you can get is potions. Extremely good ones." Kim Gongya asks, "How good does it have to be?" The Flame Emperor sighs. The Flame Emperor explains, "I think it was called the Alchemy Castle because there were a bunch of healers and alchemists. You need something made by the best person there. I know a store you can go to." Kim Gongya asks, "Aren't those extremely expensive?" The Flame Emperor replies, "Of course. You want to know how much?" The Flame Emperor whispers something in Kim Gongya's ear. Kim Gongya is shocked. Wait. I can get like 4 bottles with my entire fortune." The Flame Emperor says, "You can probably get like 5 if you get a bundle deal. If you want someone to blame, then blame your lack of talent. Now shut up and follow me." Kim Gongya struggles to keep up. "Slow down." The Flame Emperor speeds up, pulling Kim Gongya along with him. Kim Gongya shouts, "Whoa." The Flame Emperor stops suddenly, telling Kim Gongya to hide. "Why did you stop all of a sudden?" "Gongya, hide." The Flame Emperor turns to Kim Gongya, saying, "I forgot to tell you but." Kim Gongya walks. The Flame Emperor walks. The Flame Emperor is walking towards a man in a suit. He says, "This is Gramps, go to potion store." Kim Gongya is shocked. "Why couldn't you say this earlier?" The man in the suit walks. Kim Gongya says, "Tell me things like that in advance." The man in the suit walks, his red shoes visible. The camera zooms in on the man's piercing blue eyes. Kim Gongya and the red-haired woman are hiding in a trash can as the man in the suit approaches. Kim Gongya is worried. "What should I do? It's gonna be a pain if I get caught here." The man in the suit continues to walk. Kim Gongya is sweating and nervous. Kim Gongya thinks, "Out of all the places to hide, we picked a trash can. Bad news. If Gramps is here then." The red-haired man realized he probably came to clear out the potions. He yelled, "Gongya, quick, follow me." But then he stopped, realizing something. He screamed, "Ah." Someone yelled, "Nuo." He said, "We were too late. What should we do? That's the best store in the area." He thought, it would be too risky to use the same shop as the Sword Saint. He looked at the hunter rankings on his phone, seeing that the Sword Saint was number 1, followed by Black Witch, Countess, Heresy Inquisitor, and Viper. But not in the top 20. The man with short dark hair looked at his phone, seeing the name he was looking for was not in the top 100 either. Not even in the top 300. He looked up saying, "They're not here." The red-haired man asked, "What's not there?" "Your luck." The dark-haired man replied, "No, quite the opposite, in fact." He smiled, telling the red-haired man, "I don't think I have to spend as much money as you said." The red-haired man looked surprised and asked, "What?" The dark-haired man said, "We can probably get those potions pretty cheap." He continued walking, saying, "I know a pretty good alchemist." The red-haired man walked beside him, asking, "You know you're going deeper into the slums, right?" They kept walking. They continued walking. The red-haired man said, "A decent alchemist lives in a place like this. They're not just decent, they're a once-in-a-generation genius." The man in the blue jacket replied, "Stop capping. Why would a genius like that be in a place like this?" The red-haired man said, "All right. Don't believe me then." The man in the blue jacket noticed some people looking at them. He thought they were trying to see if I was worth robbing, but they gave up because they saw me talking to myself and thought I was crazy. What would they say if they found out how much I have in my pocket? The red-haired man sitting on the steps asked, "Hey zombie, you do know how to get there, right?" A woman begged, Please don't take my equipment." The red-haired man and the black-haired man arrived at their destination. "Do you know how many times you've asked us that already?" "Yep. IT looks like we came to the right place." A man yelled, "You're behind half a year's worth of payments, half a year. You have to pay your dues." The woman pleaded, "If you take my equipment, I won't even be able to make a living." The man responded, "I don't care. You will never make enough to pay IT back anyway." The man ordered, "Seize everything you see." The woman begged, 1 week. "Please, just 1 more week, no, just 5 days." The man yelled back, "Last time that 1 week became a month and that month is now half a year." The woman thought, "There are still potions I couldn't finish. Goddamn, why was I assigned to some crazy alchemist?" The woman screamed, "Ah." The man told her, "If you want some advice, find a different career." She fell to the ground. Someone whispered, "Tusk, I knew that store was going to go bankrupt soon." Another person said, "Young people are just not cut out for business these days. IT was so overpriced. What kind of strength potion is 40 gold? The green-haired woman replied, It's not overpriced. I barely make a profit off of them." She continued, "You won't be able to find potions of this quality and price anywhere in Babylon. Why you should be grateful my store is in a slum like this." One of the onlookers laughed. "Ha, look how delusional she is." Someone said, "Let's go. She thinks she's so great." The green-haired woman called out, "Wait." She pleaded, "Do you guys want to get a bottle of my special strength potion? While you're here anyway." One of the men responded, "I told you we're not buying." The red-haired man pointed at the green-haired girl and said, "Yo, that loser isn't the once-in-a-generation genius you were talking about, right?" The other man asked, "What if she is?" The red-haired man shouted, "What? Are you blind?" The green-haired girl fell to the ground. She groaned, then said, "Excuse me." She looked up and asked, "Are you still open?" The man replied, "Obviously." The green-haired girl said, "This person is neither a mad alchemist nor a loser. If you're still open, I'd like to place an order. Something expensive." The green-haired girl was known as the Master Alchemist. She was an alchemist who would reach rank 5 in the future and become the leader of the Alchemy Castle. She said, "Ah, yes, yes. Of course, I can make you anything you need." She stood up and wondered, but how expensive are we talking?" The girl said, "Machem, I'm not sure. Maybe around Zoc." The man thought, "Zoc? How much?" Before they even enter the ranks. What if I could form a connection with one of the high rankers? He realized she was a 24-karat golden goose. The girl asked him, "What are you doing? Aren't you going to take my order?" The green-haired woman greeted Kim Gongya, saying, It's a bit shabby, but please come in." She opened the door wider, revealing the Sword Emperor standing behind Kim Gongya. She led them inside, adding, "It's really shabby though." The Sword Emperor looked around the room and said, "Wow." The Sword Emperor commented, "This place definitely seems sanitary. Hey, do you really want potions made by her?" The green-haired woman looked nervously at Kim Gongya and asked, Are you really going to commission me for 20k gold?" Kim Gongya replied, "If you really don't believe me, should I pay up front?" The green-haired woman waved her hands, "Pardon. You don't have to do that." The green-haired woman with glasses said, "Actually, if possible, payment up front would be." The man in the blue jacket thought, "She's so broke that she can't display basic manners. Take as much money as you need from my safe. I'll let Sangryan know ahead of time." The green-haired woman responded, "As much as I need. Of course, please try and keep the budget within 20k gold if possible. My funds aren't unlimited." She flipped through her notebook and asked, then, "What potions do you want to commission?" She continued, "If you want to commission me to manufacture illegal drugs, I would like to decline." The man in the blue jacket thought, "On principle, that's the one thing I will not make." Even though her store just went out of business, she has the guts to refuse tens of thousands of gold. She may seem like a mess, but she definitely is fit to become the master alchemist. The man in the blue jacket assured her, "You don't have to worry. I swear it's not drugs." She seemed relieved and asked, That's a relief. So exactly what kind of potion do you want to commission?" The man with red hair said, "Well, all right. She doesn't seem all that skilled, but I'll give you the recipe." He continued, "Listen closely. I'll only explain this to you once. The liver of a rabbit pig." He listed the ingredients: the eyes of a balloon cat, the skin of a giant desert worm, and the tail of a dirt lizard. A total of 23 ingredients, is that right? The red-haired man confirmed, "Yeah, that's it for the ingredients. Now, in terms of how it's produced, that all depends on the pharmacist's skill." "That is correct." He explained, "These would all combine together to produce an effect that increases your reaction speed." The green-haired girl said, "It's an extremely high-level recipe. You create it by mixing all the ingredients at once, instead of refining them one at a time, right?" The red-haired man confirmed, That's indeed right." "That's right." The green-haired alchemist smiled, saying, "Of course." She explained that the skin of a giant desert worm has a small amount of poison. One way to nullify it is to eat the liver of a rabbit pig. However, it matters how you consume it. If it was refined, these kinds of experts exist. She continued that there are other side effects that follow, and forcibly increasing your metabolism is fundamentally. The man asked, "How soon can you prepare this?" The alchemist replied, 4 days. She added, "As long as there is enough money, I can make it in 4 days. Normally, I could make it even sooner, but I need to repurchase my equipment." Someone shouted, "Those who have a prescription from the master alchemist, please come on in." "Why are you standing in front of me? I've been waiting for a year now." Another person yelled, "A year. I've been waiting for a year and a half." The man with short brown hair said, 4 days is nothing." A muscular man with long red hair walked with him, saying, "Hey, I still don't approve of her." The muscular man continued, "Do you know how many people there are that talk a good game but have garbage skills? Those are the kinds of people that grow up to sell snake oil. Dang, we just wasted good money." The muscular man asked, "Where did you learn that recipe?" The brown-haired man answered, "It's a recipe I conjured myself. It's the greatest potion invented after drinking all sorts of poisons myself." The man with short brown hair smiled, saying, "She complimented it as a high-level recipe." The muscular man explained, "She was able to recognize the value of the recipe at once, so try trusting her. Even though she may be like that now, she becomes the head honcho of the alchemy castle 10 years later." The muscular man crossed his arms, looking annoyed. The muscular man with red hair said, "Mark my words, zombie. I bet she is going to just take your money and run." 4 days later, the green-haired pharmacist arrived, carrying boxes. She said, "I'm sorry. I wanted to get it to you sooner, but it took longer than expected trying out various combinations. Sangryan sat with the zombie. He said, residence provided by Sangryan, but didn't you originally say it would take 4 days? It's okay. The pharmacist handed the boxes over to the zombie. There are 3 boxes with 30 potions each, so that should be about 30 days worth, she said. Zombie thought this was 15 times more cost-efficient than the store suggested by the guardian spirit. This is how you're supposed to spend money. He then said, hey, you were insulting me in your head, weren't you? Yes, The pharmacist asked, this might be weird to ask now, but why did you give such a costly commission to an unknown pharmacist like me? She continued, while I am confident in my skills. She thought that just by looking at the recipe provided, there were only about 2 people in Babylon who could make it, but people treated her like a total nutcase. He thought the reason was because the pharmacist standing in front of him was a once-in-a-generation genius. Someone announced that the area had been secured, but there might be survivors inside, so they should send in a rescue squad. He thought about how she was the one who came running to the scene faster than anyone else when the city was on fire. He had heard she had something to do tonight, probably a date, and that she had been seen with the Flame Emperor a lot lately. She thought she didn't like him, someone who wasn't fooled by the Flame Emperor, and that something about him creeped her out. He thought she was skilled, kind, and even a good judge of character. He thought it would be a loss to not become close with someone like her, because she seemed kind. She asked, pardon. He said he helped her out because she seemed kind, but he thought she would have been successful even without him. He put out his hand and said, I think good hunters like us need to succeed so that we can help each other later on. He continued, it's frustrating to see only crazy-ass psychopaths succeed. I want to wish both of us the best. He said I meant everything I said. The woman with green hair looked at him. He thought she was so honest, she couldn't be any more honest than this. She agreed, that's true. We need to succeed first in order to change the world. They shook hands. The woman said, if you have anything else you want to order, call me anytime. I'll always prioritize your request. He waved as he left, saying, I'd love nothing more. He waved as he left, saying, I'd love nothing more. The red-haired man looked shocked. What? Good hunters like us? He asked. The dark-haired man looked embarrassed and replied, I know I said something embarrassing, let's just train. The next day, they were transported to the Floor 3 hunting grounds. The dark-haired man looked at the monsters, thinking, these guys are a bit too much for me to handle. So, what should I do? He thought to himself, first, drink the potion. He opened the can. He started gulping down the potion. The man with dark hair took a sip and thought, it tastes very normal. There's a hint of lemon, and I think there's some honey. Suddenly, he felt something happen. He staggered back, asking what's happening. He started groaning. He continued to groan. The red-haired man grinned, saying, "Ahog. Oh, impressive." So her skills were the real deal. The dark-haired man thought, what is he saying? Don't repeat yourself. My head feels like it's going to explode. The woman with red hair grinned, asking, how is it? It feels like you can count every single hair on your head, right? She continued, even the feeling of your sweat dripping must feel lively. She explained that this was the effect of the potion, increasing the rate at which he perceived reality. She asked if he couldn't feel it. He struggled to speak, asking what she was talking about. The woman with red hair was silhouetted above the man, who was clutching his chest. She ominously described the thing squirming around in his heart. He felt something inside him, and the woman said, "That's aura." She explained, "It exists inside every hunter that enters the tower. Most just live their days without being able to perceive it." The woman grinned and declared, "How freely you can control this aura. That will be the deciding factor." Jose. The woman continued, "Normally, you'd feel the flow by meditating in this state." She added, "But that would take too long." She stated, "If you lack talent, you need to at least work hard." The woman warned him, "The green orc towers over Kim Gongya, ready to strike. Now. If you don't want to get fucked, release your aura. Someone like you needs to train by experiencing it firsthand." Kim Gongya looks up in horror. "You! God! Damn! Ghost!" The Sword Emperor's spirit looms over Kim Gongya. "I can't understand you because you're a loser that can't even use aura." The Sword Emperor grins sadistically. "Is it painful? If you don't like it, just kill yourself." Oh, right. If you did, the kill counter would increase again. The Sword Emperor continues to mock him. "I bet Gramps would become really nice to you then." Right. The orc attacks Kim Gongya repeatedly. Kim Gongya barely dodges the attack. Slow. So this is the effect of the potion. Kim Gongya struggled, but, even though I can see the attack, why won't my body respond properly? The red-haired man urged him, "Ugh, you can dodge it. Don't give up." The red-haired man continued, "Orcs are low-level mobs with simple attack patterns. It's easy once you figure out their attacks. Now gather aura in your legs." Kim Gongya thought, easier said than done. Kim Gongya focused, "I can dodge it if I move just a single step." "Legs, please move." His heart started beating faster. Aura gathered in his legs. The orc's attack came down on him. He dodged the orc's attack. I dodged it. Harder than expected, right? The voice explained that he didn't have any proper tunnels for the aura to flow through his body. It was like his body was a small path deep in the mountains, and he needed to reconstruct that into a highway in order to use aura properly. The voice continued, explaining that he could feel the aura now thanks to the potion, and normally he wouldn't feel anything. The orc swung its massive fist at him. The voice thought that the girl might have poor sanitation standards, but her skills were first-rate. The orc roared. He was sent flying through the air. He wondered what will happen. The red-haired man said, once I turn this small path into a highway. He felt frustrated, but the guardian spirit was right. He thought about the flow of aura. Looking at the abandoned path covered in weeds, he thought, damn it, it's a fitting metaphor for the current me. He wondered, but if I were able to overcome this, what might happen? The red-haired man smirked. He thought about how he had his head cut off by old man Marcus without being able to do a thing, and said, that's right. An observer looks down on Marcus's fallen body, saying, that was the skill of someone only at the level of a neighborhood street. He continues, even that beautiful strike. Gramps still has a long way to go. As for you, do I even need to say it, you zombie? The zombie coughs. The zombie is thrown backwards by a punch. The zombie grunts in pain. The zombie is sent flying. The red-haired man looks on, saying, would you look at that? The man with the brown hair crouches low, energy swirling around him. He thinks, that's pretty creative. He charges forward, his sword glowing with power. He slashes at the orc. The orc's eye reflects the man's determined face. He manages to slice the orc's throat. The red-haired man thinks, don't let your guard down till the end. The red-haired man thinks, orcs have a thick skin. Focus your aura on the edge of your blade. Well, that might be too hard for you. The red-haired man pours all his aura into the tip of his sword, yelling, just pour all your aura into the tip of your sword. Fucking die. He plunges his sword into the orc. The man struggles with the sword in the orc's skin. He continues to stab the orc. The red-haired man lies on the ground as the orc stands over him. The orc asks, does it hurt? The orc continues, it hurts, right? I bet it really fucking hurts. You haven't even cleared a proper tunnel, yet you used your aura willy-nilly. The orc says, I bet it feels like you're dying with how weak your body is. You ruined your whole body simply trying to catch a single measly orc. You asshole. The red-haired man grinned, saying, but what you did at the end, compressing your aura like a spring, that was good. I'll compliment you for that. A hunter must always use their head while fighting. The boy was writhing in pain, aura surrounding him. He managed to choke out something like, that doesn't make me blarg. The red-haired man looked down at him, asking, do you really feel like you're gonna die? Tears welled in the boy's eyes as he replied, are you blind? The red-haired man smirked, saying, so you'll feel fine if you die. He continued, if it weren't for your returner skill, I wouldn't suggest this kind of training method. The red-haired man explained, old man Marcus also just meditates after taking this potion. He doesn't use his body recklessly like you. The man with dark hair looked at the ghost and thought, this fucking ghost. The red-haired man said, but you simply return if you die. How sweet is that? No matter how rough the training is, your body will remain normal. Damn, I'm jealous. He continued, hey zombie, since your kill counter goes up when you commit suicide, the red-haired man suggested, let's use a method that doesn't increase your kill counter. The red-haired man smiled, you know, you got the hang of using aura on your first try. At this rate, I think dying about 100 times should be enough. A journey starts with one step, and 100 deaths starts with one death. The ghost stood before the dark-haired man. The red-haired man declared, first death, let's go. A blue screen appeared, you have died. The man with short gray hair was on the ground, clutching his head. Damn it, fuck. My head hurts. He looked up, surprised. Well, what's this? The man wondered if the red-haired man would return with him. You're here as well. This is the place where I remain for a bit after dying. I'm temporarily calling this place the Netherworld. Damn, this is super cool. After a bit, you'll hear it go. You will return 24 hours back to the past, when I was killed by the Flame Emperor and Sword Saint. A blue screen appeared. The condition for your skill has been fulfilled by your death. He realized a skill. Another blue screen appeared, was also copied, randomly copying Monster Orc's skills. The man with the brown hair and the muscular man with red hair both looked shocked. The man with the brown hair yelled, monsters also have skills. What the fuck? This really is a super cheat-like skill. A system window appeared. Please select a skill. Kim Gongya stands before a blue system window, which prompts him to select a skill card. Someone shouts, who the fuck is supervising this tower? Why in the world did you give this godly skill to a loser like this, and not a great hunter like me? The red-haired sword emperor clutches his head, yelling, this is going to shatter the hunter meta. Kim Gongya stares at the skill card. He thinks, a skill of a monster. I'll just pick whatever. The sword emperor asks, wait, you're going to pick that one. What about IT? It's not like IT matters what I pick. The sword emperor asks, Shouldn't you pick the best option while you have the chance? Kim Gongya responds, but I don't have a way of telling which card is better. They're both shit-colored. This is just a game of luck. The Sword Emperor, annoyed, asks, what do you mean you don't know which skill is better? Seriously, do you not get what I'm saying? He looked at the cards and said, the colors of the cards are the same, and I can only see the back sides. How am I supposed to know which skill is better? I can see them, though. The Sword Emperor, with his long red hair and white fighting robes, was getting impatient. The young man in his red jacket looked confused. What? I can see them. A blue system window appeared. Please select a skill card. He realized the front sides. The location. He explained, the skill cards always move in a way that the backside is always facing me. It's the same even if I tilt my head upwards. So, you're able to read the contents of these cards. He thought, but the guardian spirit can fly around freely. That's why he can see the other side of the cards. The Sword Emperor replied, of course I can see them. Do you not trust my eyes? The Sword Emperor shouted, I was well known for having good eyesight ever since I was a kid, you know. When I grew older, I even obtained true sight. Eureka! The muscular man with red hair yelled, ah, are you crazy? Why did you suddenly shout? Whatever, just tell me what skills they are. The Sword Emperor put his hand to his chin and said, all right, I'll only read it once, so listen closely. The Sword Emperor prepared to read the first card. The first card read, oh, nature gives us a place to call home, but it also gives us hardships. In this harsh world, the orc race raised its reproductivity and didn't lose to nature. One orc died. Don't worry. In a place you can't see, there are still 9 more. The skill was Blessing of Reproduction, rank F. The card continued, however, you will be in heat year-round. The Sword Emperor prepared to read the second card. The second card read, we always add TCH week at the end of our sentence, TCH week. We don't know why we do this either, TCH week. But you should also take a sip of the TCH week, TCH week. Flex, then you'll never be able to escape the fun of the TCH week, TCH week. For eternity, TCH week. Touch week, TCH week. The skill was TCH week, TCH week, rank F. Gongya looked shocked but then said, however, TCH week, TCH week. The muscular man with red hair tried to stop him. Do you see now? If I didn't stop you, you would have selected TCH week, TCH wiki. Now Gongya, don't you think that since you were born a man, it's worth it obtaining the strength of an orc? You're just spouting garbage. They're both garbage, but if I were to pick, it'd be TCH week, TCH wiki. Hey, I think you have your speech and thoughts mixed up. Gongya replied, anyways, I think I'm right. TCH week, TCH wiki is better than Blessing of Reproduction. The muscular man reached out. No. Gongya, wait. Stop. Please give it a bit more thought. Gongya smiled. It seems like you are having the same thought as me. What are you? A blue system window appeared. Selection complete. Copying skill. The muscular man yelled, ah. Gongya was pulled into the blue light as the muscular man screamed, "Nu woo 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 woo." Gongya shouted, yes. Gongya sat up in bed. A blue screen appeared telling him, you are currently an F-rank hunter. Another screen showed up. There is no penalty for the skill usage. Gongya said, all right. Gongya smiled, ah tilde sweet. Sangryan really is the best. Staying at a nice place really does make my mind and body feel refreshed tilde. Sangryan was throwing a fit in the background, thinking, damn IT. I thought he would fall for IT. Sangryan asked, who would pick Blessing of Reproduction there? He then said, stop throwing a tantrum and let's go hunting tilde. Hunter status window open. Screen showed Gongya's status. Name, Kim Gongya, rank, F skills 4/4, I want to become just like US+, passive returners winding clock X, passive sword thrown A+, passive TCH week F, active. Gongya thought, alright, I don't see any problems. Sangryan grabbed Gongya's shoulders and said, so Gongya, I thought about IT hard. Gongya asked, what? Sangryan continued, and I think you should just train by sitting still in a lotus position. IT hurts to die. Sangryan said, let's just take IT easy and train lotus style. Yeah, I'll let you achieve aura in just half a year. He added, to the floor 3 hunting grounds. Moving to the floor 3 hunting. Sangryan was trying to get him to train lotus style, but the Sword Emperor yelled, can you not hear me? Ignoring him, the Sword Emperor took a swig from his water bottle. Delicious. Sangryan asked, hey, Mr. Sword Emperor, did you know? What? You want to get into the lotus position. The Sword Emperor responded, you call me zombie when you're at an advantage and Gongya when you're not. The Sword Emperor continued, and earlier you called me Gongya. I'm kindly letting you know so you can fix that habit. An orc looked at the Sword Emperor and asked, Guruk. The orc continued to advance on the Sword Emperor. The orc advanced, swinging his axe. As expected, his movements looked slow again. Gulo. Activating his skills, the Sword Emperor prepared to strike. The orc was confused. TCH weak. The Sword Emperor slashed at the orc. The orc staggered back, green blood spurting from his neck. The orc fell to the ground. The Sword Emperor wiped his brow. Phew, you fucking cheater. I knew this would happen. The man with brown hair looked back and said, are you happy with tricking an innocent orc like that? Are ya? Can you not even take a moment to consider how the orc might feel? He continued, saying, the innocent orcs of this world are getting hurt because of dirty humans like you. The brown-haired man smirked and said, TCH weak. The Sword Emperor was furious, yelling, ah, fuck, I'm so angry. Oh Tower, why did you give a cheat-like skill to a little shit like this? The brown-haired man told him, don't sweat it and just follow me already. The brown-haired man stated, a week later a goblin king is seen thinking, Gorak. Kim Gongya stands before the floor 5 boss monster, the Goblin King. Kim Gongya activates a skill. The skill name appears. Kim Gongya attacks the Goblin King, using Goblin High Society. He is rank F. The Goblin King is shocked. Gorak, how can someone other than I? Kim Gongya strikes the Goblin King. The Goblin King yells, speak such a perfect language of the king. You are the strongest enemy I'd faced all week. Kim Gongya thinks, farewell, my honorable opponent. Bull fucking shit. The red-haired man yells, why are you getting so emotional over defeating a single monster? God damn. Kim Gongya replies, I just barely got him after 6 coins. Am I not allowed to get a little emotional? I coin equals I life. The red-haired man points at Kim Gongya and says, I'm only stating facts. Besides, could you even call that an honorable fight? It was. Kim Gongya looks at the skill he copied from the Goblin King. It was called Goblin High Society, rank F. The skill description said that the Goblin King was lost in thought, worrying about how to show off his royal authority. He decided to start saying Gorak instead of Karak. Kim Gongya thinks, it's kind of amazing that even goblins worry about such worthless things. Karak or Gorak doesn't make a difference. The red-haired man states, that's why they are goblins. Humans are not different. Kim Gongya looks at the red-haired man and asks, excuse me. The red-haired man says, I'm just talking to myself. Kim Gongya asks what he means, as a blue screen appears that says his existence is becoming better defined. The red-haired man and Kim Gongya stand in the tower. Kim Gongya is leveling up. Kim Gongya is happy that his skill slots have expanded and that he is now an E-rank hunter. Kim Gongya is happy that he has finally leveled up and hopes that fortune will be with him. The muscular man with long red hair asked, was it sparks? Or maybe drops of blood? Tusk, that was confusing. Just now, that was the level-up effect, right? Yeah, it doesn't happen just for you to look cool. Kim Gongya looked at him and the man continued, it's a type of hint. Man explained that the shape of one's aura is foretold by the effects that show up when they level up. He said, for example, the Flame Emperor you killed. I bet his was fire. Kim Gongya thought, sparks you say. The man with red hair continued, the shape of one's aura usually takes after the hunter's trauma. Well, it's not always a bad memory. It's based off of a life-defining moment or event that gets reflected in the shape of your aura. I guess it's like a form of subconsciousness. The red-haired man judged, based on my judgment, zombie, you are either fire or blood. Then, what is the Sword Saint's aura shape? The Sword Saint's aura shape was moonlight. The Sword Saint's aura was like moonlight. He remembered when he was a kid, he got lost in the mountains. He didn't want to die, so he crawled up to the mountaintop. He says that the moon in the clear sky was absolutely astonishing. The Sword Saint thought about the moon. The moon shines not with its own strength, but by receiving light from the sun. Yet a life where you only receive is still beautiful. He continued, I want to shine like moonlight by receiving. Or so he thought when he was 12, and he's cherished the thought ever since. Years old, the Sword Saint definitely ain't normal. The Sword Saint said, anyways, we cleared floor 5. Let's go to floor 6. The man with dark hair asked, oh, about that. Can't we just go and raid the floor 10 boss? The Sword Saint asked, what? Hey, aren't you being overconfident despite being a newbie? The man with dark hair replied, I promise you that's not it. The Sword Saint asked, do you know how many years several great hunters have wasted on floor 10? The man with dark hair replied, if I can't clear floor 10 in 2 coins, I promise to start calling you master. You're saying you can defeat it after just 1 death. The Sword Saint said, it took you 6 coins to defeat the Goblin King, yet you think you can clear floor 10 in 2 coins. You don't seem to know your place, but I don't take it easy with Pete. However, I have a condition. The man replied, you have to be honest and tell me what skills the floor 10 boss has. The Sword Saint thought, well, that seems fair. Also, the Sword Saint continued, if I win, you have to call me Gongyanim as politely as you can. Why you want to chicken out? You can call it quits if you want. The man with dark hair got angry. You goddamn motherfucking little piece of shit. You think you can pick a fight with the Great Sword Emperor just because you have a cheat-like skill? The Sword Saint replied, bet. Kim Zombie, be prepared to serve me as your master your whole life, because you won't be able to clear the floor 10 boss. Right, and since you can't die, you'll have to call me master for all eternity. Do you have the delusion skill? Just be ready to serve me as if I'm Confucius." Kim Zombie and the Sword Saint laughed at the absurd bet. They continued to laugh. Someone watching thought, "I think he went crazy." A knight in armor said, "You may not." Kim Zombie asked, "Why is that?" The knight replied, "You want to challenge the boss by yourself. Going on a solo hunt is an act of suicide." Kim Zombie said, "Didn't you watch the news? The Black Dragon Guild went on a raid with 34 of its elite members and still failed." "So what? It's the association rule to allow any hunters that want to raid in." The guard told him, "I'm sorry, but I have to keep a record of all hunters that enter here. My superiors will be looking over those records later." The guard continued, "I'll be the heartless bastard that lets someone head to their death. Think about the position I'm in as well." "What? Hunter Association? My world didn't have something like that. What should I do?" Kim Zombie interrupted. "Playing these lame games of politics is the reason why you guys are still stuck on floor 10. Kim Zombie, just beat this guy up and go in." "Mr. Guard, I appreciate your hard work, and what you're saying is right." The guard said, "To be honest, I really do want to commit suicide." The guard and Kim Zombie were both surprised. "Pardon? What?" The guard explained, "A year ago, my significant other died, and a little while ago, the Alchemy Castle told me I have an incurable illness. They say I have half a year at most, but I can't live on with my lover gone." The guard continued, "But here's the thing. I might be of the lowest tier, but I'm still a hunter. Instead of waiting for my life to end in the Alchemy Castle's hospital ward, I'd like to challenge some monsters till the end." The guard looked at him, thinking, "Such a tragic story." The man handed the guard a bag. "Here, this is the money I saved up for my treatment." The guard replied, I can't accept this money." The man with brown hair said, "Since I'll disappear anyway, I want to go without leaving anything behind. Mr. Guard, please don't leave any records of my entry either." The guard said, "This is my last request as a hunter." "I understand. Please go on ahead. I didn't see anything." A muscular man with long red hair interrupted, "You're both fucking dumb. Are you two filming a movie?" The guard watched as the man walked through the gate. The red-haired man asked, "Does it matter how, as long as I reach floor 10? They arrived at floor 10, a large mansion under a stormy sky. The narrator said, "A floor that should have been cleared by Yusuha." The red-haired man and his companion approached the mansion's entrance. He declared, "I will now write a legend greater than that of the Flame Emperor." They stepped inside. The floor was decorated with a flower design. Creepy dolls stood on the staircase, saying, "Tee-hee." The dolls continued, "Tee-hee-hee-hee-hee." The dolls asked, "Will you play? Will you play with us? What should we play?" The dolls continued, "Freeze tag." "What's the time, Mr. Wolf? All the ice melted, and the wolf is dead. Let's play hide and seek." "That's right. Play with us. Play hide and seek with us." A system window appeared. You entered a boss stage. The challenger is one person, Hunter Kim Gongya. Kim Gongya said, "All right, I'll play." The Black Dragon Guild had been the strongest since the tower opened. But now, the guild with the purple-haired leader had failed for the 30th time, as photographers snapped pictures. The leader was asked, "What do you think was the reason why you failed?" She responded, "We do not lack skills. We were simply unlucky." A man with long black hair smirked, "Oh, are you sure about that?" A system message appeared, 10th floor stage has been cleared. The man continued, "Luck is also a skill you pushovers." He stated that this interview will be known as a pushover declaration in the future. He thought to himself that he only had one question. He wondered why the Flame Emperor was the only hunter who could clear the 10th floor. He entered the 10th floor, facing the stage boss, Hellfire Maiden. She told him to play with them and that he must make it fun. The way to clear the 10th floor was simple. The Hellfire Maiden told him that he was it, and he had to find the real one within the mansion. The dolls repeated to find it quickly. He had to find a single real doll and destroy it, because this was no ordinary flame. This was Hellfire made with aura. No matter how much aura he wrapped around his body to form a barrier, he would only last 10 minutes in these flames. He thought that a hunter who uses a fire-type aura would hardly be affected at all by these flames. He failed again. He thought that was why that bastard was able to clear it safely. He even boasted that luck was also a skill after doing that. He coughs, realizing his hair might be spotted, and sings a hide-and-seek song. He asks what he means by him living off his luck, as the heat is killing him. He is struggling to endure with his aura right now as well. The red-haired man tells him that his limit will come in about a minute from now. The red-haired man says that old man Marcus can last 30 minutes in flames like this, and is just waiting so he can try it when he can last over an hour, unlike someone who decided to barge in straight away. The man sarcastically thanks him for his information. He sings the hide-and-seek song again, wondering what he is going to do with only 2 coins. He decides he'll think about it after he dies first, again realizing his hair might be spotted. The red-haired man asks if he thinks his aura is suddenly going to expand by a boatload when he dies here. The voice explains that there are 2 ways to clear the room. Find the real doll with a small chance, or be good enough at using aura to last in this flame until you find the real doll. The explanation continues, showing the man surrounded by flames. The red-haired man laughs, saying, "But you idiot went and only betted on 2 coins. You won't be able to do it, probably. This guy only knows half his shit." The man in the flames says, "We'll see who'll be winning after I die once. Time until my aura runs out." He continues, 10 seconds. "Shall I just randomly grab one for now?" A doll says, "Are you going to play with me?" The man grabs the doll, saying, "Got you." The doll's face contorts, screaming, "Wrong." The doll melts, blood and wax dripping as it yells, "I'm not IT. I'm 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 not IT. 5 seconds remain. Holding the melting doll, he hears it scream, "I'm not IT. I'm not I'm 3 seconds. He thinks, did they really have to direct the boss stage like this? Who would understand the divine thoughts of the tower? He's surrounded by burning dolls. It's a pervert psychopath that gives a broken skill to a slacker like you. Man, your choice of words are 1 second. He screams, "Arg." He is engulfed in flames. The Hellfire Maiden screams, "Time's up, zombie." Q-A-A-G. It's burning, and you're a masochist that exceeds the tower. Kim Zombie smiles as he burns alive. Kill me quickly. However much you wanted to become the best hunter, for you to have accepted a plan to burn to death. There's no denying it, Kim Zombie. You're a real masochist. Kim Zombie tells her to go faster. A blue system window appears. You have died. Another blue system window appears. Due to your death, the skill requirements have been met. A final blue system window appears, randomly copying Monster Hellfire Maiden's skills. Kim Zombie looks down at his hand and thinks, "You haven't forgotten about the promise, right?" The muscular man with red hair responds, "Yeah, I know. Do I look like some narrow-minded jerk who doesn't keep his promises?" "Ooh." He exclaims, "Yo, this one is a jackpot." A system window appears, displaying the skill Fire Hell Barrier ranked S. The effect reads, "Grudge, resentment, anger, your deep resentment left unresolved, your voice not heard, your hopes not fulfilled. Burn them all away." It's burning, is it burning? Cover the world in fire. I think I'm going to die. Kill them all. If you wish for it, a fiery hell made of aura will advent in a radius of 2 km around you. Nobody can exit this hell without your permission. Nobody. However, you must also be in the barrier. The text continues, saying this is definitely it, and to shut up and choose this, because it's the only S-ranked skill it has despite being a boss monster. He continues, just imagine hellfire like just now coming up whenever you want, like bam. He asks Kim Zombie, "What's wrong?" Kim Zombie responds, "What are you thinking about?" "No, it's just, I don't know why, but something is troubling me." A creepy figure says, "What is it?" "I'm not it." The guy with the green hoodie says, "It's definitely a good skill, but I feel heavy inside. Anyways, read the other skills as well." The red-haired man replies, "I don't understand." "But fine." The skills are Labyrinth Planning Rank A, Doll Control Rank B, Remote Control Rank B, Trap Placement Rank C. The red-haired man asks about the last one. The guy in the green hoodie says, "I knew it." The red-haired man shouts, "No wait, Gong Ya. Listen here." Gong Ya replies, "It's okay, I think I already know what skill it is." The red-haired man says, "Look at this." "Well, golden card. So cool. If you get this, you can set up a hellfire barrier instantly. Everyone will be attracted to you in your devilish style." Gong Ya replies, "No. This is the card that I wanted." Gong Ya thought, "I felt that something was strange from the beginning. There's one real doll amongst tens of thousands of dolls. The real doll is the one that has the fire aura, so it won't burn." He wondered then, why aren't the fake dolls burning as well? The muscular man with long red hair reached out to him. There's one answer to that. The screen appeared, "Be careful of fire, awake or sleep rank. Effect, hot." The man explained that if something that hot was left alone, the house would burn down. But he could designate living beings and objects that wouldn't burn anymore. The downside was that damage received by water and ice types increased by 300%. He had a skill that allowed him to choose a target that wouldn't burn, and he had copied it. Damn it. This is one shitty bet. You had a haza. Go ahead and say Sir Gong Ya go on. He died. He was returning to 24 hours before. His current hunter rank was E. Now we can go back without worry and take a look around the mansion until we find the real doll. He thought, man, what can I do? The game has gotten too easy. A penalty occurred due to the skill. He saw a blue system window that said it was recreating the trauma of the enemy who killed him. He wondered what the level of the penalty was. Trauma. What is? He asked. The penalty commenced. A purple butterfly glows in the darkness. A child's voice calls out, "Mister, I'm hungry." A child with white hair stands outside a gate, pleading, "Just one bread, please. Anything, even scraps are okay." The man inside the gate responds harshly, "Another beggar this morning." The child continues to beg, "Just a slice of bread." Aren't there more orphans begging in our neighborhood these days? It's okay even if it has mold. There's nothing to eat because of famine. I'm very hungry. The child moves on to another house. "One bread, please. I don't know where they are coming from." A man in a suit kicks the child. I wish someone would clear up all of them. The child cries out, ouch. The man continues to hit the child, who says, I'm sorry, mister. The man, dressed in a suit and top hat, asked the child, do you have parents? He put his hand on the child's head. You look very hungry. Your body also hurts everywhere, right? The man offered, come with me. The man continued, I'm a doctor. I have a lot of your friends in my mansion. You can get treatment together and play with them. The child looked up at him and said, kind mister. Behind bars, the child asked, when can I go out and play? I'm so hungry. The man replied, be patient. The man in the top hat said, one who seeks food just because of hunger is an animal. Just because you were born like an animal doesn't mean you should grow up like one, right? He grabbed the orphan girl and said, I know you orphans very well. He continued, you don't work because of an excuse that you are young, traveling from village to village, spreading diseases like a virus. The man raised his knife and told the girl, I'm a doctor and a guard who removes diseases like you. With a sinister look, he said, sacrifice yourself. The man announced to the crowd, this country's famine has one cause. These orphans who only know how to beg. Children of the witches. Xeracua's poison and our country's viruses. He raised his hand to the sky and declared, I will save this land by sacrificing you to God. The hooded figure screamed, kill them. Kill them. Someone laughed maniacally. A voice said, kind mister, we don't have enough sacrifices. We need more for the next event. A young man stood in a room littered with weapons and blood, asking, where are you taking my friends? In a dungeon, a boy asked, why do you keep hurting us? Why? The young man with dark hair exclaimed, wow, shit, what is this? Are you seeing this? I saw it from the beginning. I forgot that you were here. I can't see you. I guess only our consciousness is floating around. A muscular man with red hair said, that doesn't matter right now. How can they be this crazy? How dare they sacrifice innocent children? The man with short dark hair thought, it's probably the 10th boss's personality. He recalled the trauma of the enemy he had killed. I had no idea that a monster could be a human before. The muscular, red-haired man said, not all monsters are like this. Only the bosses. Boss monsters are formed based on events in the other world. The man with short, dark hair said, the other world's creatures, heroes, and everything else. It becomes clearer from the 11th floor onwards. Why didn't you tell me that? The muscular, red-haired man replied, you didn't ask. The man with short, dark hair thought, I'm hungry, but it's my first time experiencing the original. Is anybody there? I only knew that they were from the other world, and there's no way to know what they went through. He thought, seeing it with my own eyes. Fucking sucks. Somewhere in the world, things were going from bad to worse. The mansion was on fire. Someone shouted, quickly escape the mansion. Wait, carry jewels on your way. He grabbed the man's arm and asked, right now, aren't you forgetting something? He yelled, there are kids in the basement. In the basement, a boy with white hair sat in front of a barred window, flames raging outside. He wondered, can this get any worse? Trapped in cages engulfed by flames, a child cries out, and no. Anyone there? The fire blazes as the child screams, it's hot. Kind mister. A dark screen appears. We didn't do anything bad. Another dark screen reads, we didn't want to starve. Another dark screen reads, we wanted to play with friends. Another dark screen reads, just play a little bit. The red-haired man looked thoughtful and said, He continued, it was unfortunate and I was moved by the recollection, but there's nothing we can do about it now, right? The dark-haired man looked annoyed. Wow, is that really the first thing you can say? You're really... The red-haired man admitted, sure, yes, I'm trashy, but what can we do? The truth is never what you want to hear. He explained that the boss was now a monster, and the original children were already dead in the other world. It all happened long before you were born. What can you do? The red-haired man said, if that happened in the tower, sure, you might be able to die countless times until you saved them. But that happened in the other world. Nobody can solve this problem. Find the real doll and kill it. He urged him to climb up to the 11th floor, and then the 20th, 30th, 40th, and 50th. You can only clear those this way. If you decided to become the strongest hunter, the one standing at the top, you have to solve these kinds of problems yourself. He finished, that's probably what Yomj thought too. The man with red hair faced him as he said, Yusuha would have 100% found the real doll and popped its head. Whether or not he saw this trauma without hesitation. So what? The man in the green jacket turned away, replying, I don't want to be like Yomj bastard. So what's your plan? The red-haired man asked, are you a little child? So now you're not going to clear this boss because you don't want to be like him. The man in the green jacket argued, you need to kill the boss to clear the floor, you zombie bastard. Who decided on that? The man in the green jacket slammed his fist, yelling, damn it. I was a fool. The red-haired man asked, what are you talking about? He continued, I was a fool. And you were too. Damn it, I didn't know anything from the beginning. The red-haired man asked, do you remember when you made a scene to make me choose a S-class skill? Who do you think I am, zombie? Of course I remember. Resentment, hostility, vengeance. The resentment that you couldn't pacify, the voices not reached, the dreams not achieved. Burn all of that. If you are willing to, you can make a 2km or a fire hell. Nobody can escape this hell without your permission. Don't you think something is odd? The red-haired man asked him to spit it out, asking what part of that was odd. He replied, the last part. Nobody can escape this hell without your permission. The woman with long dark hair said, then was the Black Dragon Guild able to return all alive without killing the boss? He realized, you're right. How could that be? There's only one answer, of course. The boss gave permission to escape. The stage was one that no human could clear, as the creepy children giggled. The boss only wanted one thing from the visitor, to play with them. He smiled. Sure, let's play. The skill Be Wary of Fire took effect. One of the children asked, Mister, you're not burning. Isn't it hot? Another child said, then you can play with us. Yes. He clasped his hands together. Hide and seek it is. Be careful, everyone. I never lost a round of hide and seek when I was little. Mr. is weird. The man with dark hair covered his eyes and shouted, I'll start counting, everyone hide. Hide. I can see your hair. The kids were stuck to the ground. One said, he's playing hide and seek with kids who are stuck to the ground. Run and hide well. Run far away. Let's run so that he can never find us. Don't get caught by Mister. The man started counting. Okay, I'm going to start. He reached for a child, but they shouted wrong. It's not me. The man looked around, confused. Then is it you? It has to be you. But the child responded, no, that's not me. Nope, not me. Wrong. The man scratched his head. This is harder than I thought. Then is it you? Another child said, nope, it's not me. The red-haired man watched from the side. The man with dark hair sat with the children. Hey, this is a memorial. The man holding a doll insists, wrong. It's not me. Not me. Not me. He continues, nope. Not me. Not me. A doll is in a cage and it says, it's. The doll stares ahead with one eye open. The doll in the cage asks the man, will you play with us? The man grabs the doll's head and says, I caught you. The man smirks and says, it's your turn now. A hand rests on the head of a young boy with white hair. The boy says, kind mister. Thank you. The boy's face is covered with a white liquid. Now the boy smiles, saying thank you. A man with red hair stands in a prison-like room, watching a man in green kneel on the floor. System messages appeared. Congratulations. Normal stage clear. Kim Gong-ya conquered the stage. A blue system window appeared, generating a clear reward. The reward was the entrance to the 11th floor, which would activate in 24 hours. Kim Gong-ya and the Sword Emperor stood outside a building. Kim Gong-ya looked off to the side. The Sword Emperor asked, why do you look like that? The Sword Emperor said, clearing hidden stages wasn't easy even for me. But you did it. And the reward is pretty good, isn't it? You wouldn't understand. You're not a human. Kim Gong-ya said, I was just thinking about how shitty the world is. Kim Gong-ya continued, the things we saw in the boss stage. Whether it's this world or ours, shitty things like this will always happen. The Sword Emperor said, well, humans are all the same. The Sword Emperor and the young man stood together outside. The Sword Emperor yelled, whatever. I can't talk about stuff like this. The Sword Emperor put his hand on the young man's shoulder. Rather than that, you were amazing back there. You cleared the boss in your own way. Good job. The Sword Emperor smiled. You're being suspicious. Hey, I mean IT. IT wasn't luck that got you through. IT was your own skill. The Sword Emperor gestured to the young man. Since we're partners, if something good happens, we should rejoice. Fireworks went off in the sky as an announcement appeared. The announcement read, the 10th floor stage has been cleared. The 11th floor will be open in 24 hours. Fireworks suddenly lit up the sky. Someone asked, what's with the fireworks? Another person watching the fireworks said, there are fireworks on the first floor. Is it just here? Someone on the third floor chimed in, I'm on the third floor and we have them too. The countdown timer to the 11th floor appeared among the fireworks. People started talking about the 10th floor being cleared. Anyone else hear about the 10th floor being cleared? Was it the Black Dragon? They haven't said anything though. They said that their next conquest will be in 2 weeks. The timer showed 23 hours, 59 minutes and 58 seconds. A man with long red hair watched the fireworks and thought, I saw this exact scene in my past life. Another man also watching the fireworks thought, this is my second time. People on the HunterNet forum were going crazy trying to figure out who cleared the 12th floor. We managed the 12th floor, one person wrote. It's definitely not Black Dragon. Another person added, the executives are on the first floor cafe across from. Someone else said, I'm praying at the Pantheon and the temple leaders are here. It's not them either. The theories kept coming. Viper is teaching students right now. One person posted, Crusader is working at Babylon Plaza. Another person chimed in, I'm a higher-up in the business alliance. I can't verify my identity, but it's not us. Someone asked, it's not a guild. Then isn't it the Sword Saint? But another person replied, Sword Saint is drinking milk next to me. People were confused. What does this mean? One person asked, it doesn't make sense. No one knows who cleared it. Who was it? A muscular man with long red hair stood with his arms crossed. He heard a voice in his head, "You've gone from an extra to the main character. How does it feel?" As he watched the fireworks, the man replied, "It feels amazing." The voice continued, "It feels like I have the world in the palm of my hands. Doesn't it?" The voice warned, "Don't get it wrong. You barely managed to clear the 10th floor." "But," the red-haired man said, "you're the closest in your world to reaching the top." "I know. Now we just need to actually reach the top of the tower." "Sir," a knight in full armor shouted, "Sir Hunter." The knight asked, Was it you?" The man in the green hoodie asked, "What are you talking about?" The knight responded, That cleared the 10th floor." The knight continued, "You're the only one who's challenged the 10th floor today." It's a mess. The higher-ups keep asking me what happened." The man in the green hoodie asked, "And if I did, what are you gonna do?" The knight asked, Well, I still haven't heard my name. I gave you 100 gold though. Please at least tell me your sobriquet." The man with dark hair said, "I don't have one." The knight in shining armor said, Look at his face." The red-haired man said, "You made the right choice. Your name is valuable. You have to hide your identity and make them find you." "I just realized something." The red-haired man asked, What did you realize? Please state the floor you want to go to. The reason you're praising me so much." The red-haired man continued, "You said you'd call me Lord Gongya if I cleared the boss in 2 coins, didn't you?" "Well, what should we do?" "Really clear the 10th floor within 2 coins. Gongya, we're partners." He grabbed the dark-haired man, saying, "Think about it. We're partners. You and I. Equals the one who reached the 99th floor and the one who'll clear the 100. Partners, friends, first floor. Going to the first floor city. Gongya tilde." The dark-haired man said, "Whatever, just call me Lord Gongya from now on." He declared that he should be called Lord Gongya for the rest of everyone's lives. Someone wondered if someone had cleared the 10th floor. He said he kept watching the news, but didn't see anything. He wondered if the black dragon cleared it and was hiding it on purpose. Someone else said that it was the Sword Saint. The man with earphones asked the Sword Spirit what he thought and said that victory was sweet, just like his caramel macchiato. The man with earphones said, I can't hear you. Are my earphones broken?" He kept calling out to the Sword Spirit, calling him Mr. Sword Spirit, Mr. Psychopath, and Mr. Lunatic. The Sword Spirit finally answered, "What is it?" The man with earphones said, I can finally hear you. I thought you went deaf again. You made Lord Gongya worry. You can't do that, Tilda." The Sword Spirit shouted, "Hey, can we talk casually now? It's weird if I speak so formally when you call me Lord Gongya. Isn't it? Just kill me." The Sword Spirit continued to complain, "Just get a new skill and replace Sword Constellation. I want to go back to Old Man Marcus. That's no small decision. Aren't we lifelong partners?" The Sword Spirit said, "We'll be together forever. It's been an hour and a half. It's about time." The man with earphones sipped his drink. A small brown cat thought, "To think that such a big shot would come find me. Meow tilde." The cat thought, "No one knows about this cat yet. I'll pretend not to know. Are you lost? Wanna play me? Naya?" Someone approached the man with earphones. The cat thought, the person in the cat is supposed to be a lunatic. What amazing acting. The person asked, "Excuse me, are you Hunter Kim Gongya?" The man holding the cat thought, He held up a Hunter ID card, thinking, "I was wondering how long it would take. It's been exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes. A woman on the phone shouted, "Yes, we found him. The cafe in front of the bank. Don't worry, I won't let another guild take him." The blonde man in white armor stepped forward and said, "I'm the lead recruiter for the Vigilante Guild. Hunter Kim Gongya if you join our guild." Kim Gongya raised a hand. "Sorry to cut you off, but let me just say 2 things." Kim Gongya continued, "First, don't let my name slip to the press." Until when? The newspapers are picking at our heels, so." He added, "It's not for long." He said it would only be until the clock hits 0000, because he doesn't want to get caught by reporters before he enters the 11th floor either. The woman with the ponytail said that much was fine, and second, she reminded him that this was a public area, so to be mindful of the customers. He apologized. The woman from the bureau asked how much it would cost to rent the cafe for an hour, and told them to get them some coffee too. She thanked everyone for their cooperation. The coffee arrived. She told him to start, and asked him to tell her his conditions. The man in the suit offered, "We're offering 10,000 gold as a down payment. It seems the civil militia doesn't have much money." Another man said, "Join the Adventure League. We'll give you 20,000. A man with braided hair said, "Please join the Heavenly Gates. We'll bring you to the Master so you can start training and give you 25,000 gold as a down payment." Another person said, "It's not like you need training. If you come to the 10,000 temple, we'll give you an honorary post. Someone else said, please join the bureau as an ambassador. They probably scoffed at the mention of the Sword Saint. The Vigilante Guild can offer 36,000 gold. The man with the cat thought, the Sword Saint is rank 1 and he's not even in a guild. Guilds with no money should just stay out of this. You only raised your offer by 1,000. Because of that, people have been wary of guilds and their motives. The Vigilante, so they want someone to overtake the rumors of the Sword Saint. The man with the cat said, you shouldn't try to recruit me while hiding your intentions. Business alliance. 500,000 gold. The cat jumped off the table. A woman with dark curly hair said, and I'll give you the title of Vice Guild Leader. What do you think? She was rank 3 a Merchant Federation Guild Leader Countess. The Merchant Federation Guild Leader Countess offered him the title of Vice Guild Leader. The man with dark hair and a blue sweater smiled. The man with the brown hair said, you got guts, and you don't seem to be that surprised that a cat turned into a human. The woman with the brown wavy hair responded, thank you. I do have guts. I even see ghosts and stuff. Adahazan. You are even relaxed enough to joke. The paladin thought that he cannot believe the hunter in front of him is in her 40. She's the richest at the top of the tower, so she probably drank something like a youth potion every day. The woman with the brown wavy hair said, Ms. Yeonju. Excuse me, but you're excused. The paladin thought isn't 500,000 gold and the Vice Guild Master. Too much. Of course, subjugating the 10th floor is amazing, but the skills of Kim Gongya are not known. The woman with the brown wavy hair asked, are you done? The paladin responded with, yes. The woman with the brown wavy hair said, then before you excuse yourself even more, bring your bosses. Yeonju said, sorry, but I can't hold a conversation with you guys. If there's anyone who can bet higher than 500,000 gold, then they can stay. The man with the black hair looked up at Yeonju, standing beside him. He said, fucking cat. He's here. Suddenly, a man with an eye patch kicked open the door. He shouted, fucking bitch. This damned, a system window appeared, identifying him as rank 5 Chen Mumun, Guild Master Viper. A blonde man said, I'm a step behind. I admit it's our mistake. A system window appeared, identifying him as rank 4 10,000 Temple, Guild Master Heretic Interrogator. A man in a suit of armor said, mistake isn't the right word. Our job is to stop the existing hunters from being confused. Yeonju, you were too excessive. A system window appeared, identifying him as rank 8 Civil Militia Vice Guild Master Crusader. The woman with purple hair was identified as rank 2 Black Dragon Guild Master, Black Witch. The group gathered at a cafe. One of them said, welcome. They're all the highest rankers. A woman with dark skin said, I don't know how long it's been since we've all gathered like this. It feels like only yesterday when we subjugated the 2nd floor together. We've gotten old. A man with an eye patch replied, shut up before I boil you up into soup. The man with the eye patch exclaimed, 500,000 gold. Vice Guild Master, flaunting your wealth is your specialty, so the gold was expected, but Vice Guild Master. All right, let's order coffee first. A blonde woman said, it's rude to not order when you've come to a cafe. Should the people who lead the tower's greatest guilds be seen like this? I'm going to order a cafe mocha. What about everyone else? The dark-skinned woman said, a nice cold cafe latte sounds nice. The armored man added, hazelnut latte. Hot, extra shot, grand. I want a hot Americano. The man with the eye patch was shocked. What? The world's been turned upside down cause the 10th floor was cleared, and you guys can drink coffee. Do your fucking brains run on caffeine? A dark espresso for Chen Mumun's master. Understood. The assembled guild members started ordering. One shouted, boss, we would like to order. This fucking religious guy. I don't want it. The manager nervously took the orders. Why, yes then. 1 tall iced cafe mocha, 1 tall hot Americano, 1 tall iced caf latte, 1 grand hot hazelnut latte, 1 doppio espresso. Oh, and Tilda. The manager asked, what would Hunter Kim Gongya like? Gongya thought, they're all testing me. Gongya realized, in place of the executives that left, the guild masters have gathered. Was this all a coincidence? This is a strategy to make me lose my composure. He steeled himself, thinking, don't be scared. They're just trying to test you out by scaring you. Gongya thought, I know. It's nothing compared to being burned alive. Gongya knew, right now what I need to show them is relaxation. He called out, manager, can I get a menu? Gongya said, maybe it's because I had a macchiato earlier, but I'm not really feeling coffee right now. Can I get a hot chocolate? The manager replied, all right. Gongya thought, to be honest, if there's a reason that I'm not that afraid of them, it's. The blonde woman smiled, saying, it's interesting. It seems like you didn't do much before subjugating the 10th floor. A sudden change. The muscular man behind Gongya said, because the worst they could do is kill me. Yeah, this is both your strength and your weakness. If you are scared, just let them kill you. Gongya thought, thanks for the support, but I'm not going to release you. Shit. The woman with dark skin said, he was not totally inactive. This youngster recently was chosen as my guild's lottery winner. He's got luck and guts, and he probably has skills too. If a youngster has these 3, they'll succeed no matter what they do. The man with an eye patch said, there's no way a person who cleared the 10th floor is a newbie. Didn't I tell you guys before? Stop putting on an act that doesn't even work and just scout him. Another man said, that's not what's important. The woman with purple hair said, just because some of our reputations were hurt doesn't mean all of ours were. Save the problems we have with each other for later. Hunter Kim Gongya. Someone asked, I'll ask you bluntly, which guild are you planning on joining? The woman with long dark hair said, if you're not planning on registering to any guild like the Sword Saint, let us know in advance. We have to discuss how to handle the media if that happens. He smirked and asked, and if I'm planning on joining? She responded that an intense auction would start and that they had stayed too long on the 9th floor. She explained that since he cleared the 10th floor, they had another chance to advertise the value of the tower to the outside world and bring people who weren't just war refugees. She added that the hunters who were living comfortably on the 1st floor would have a renewed sense of adventure. She asked what kind of world would be waiting at the 11th floor and stated that curiosity was what maintained the tower. She also said that the food shortage would be resolved and that it was hard to manage the supply of food with just 9 floors. A woman with dark skin and a yellow dress said that she had been keeping a route from the outside world open, but it definitely wasn't enough, and it was time for a new product. A woman with long dark hair said that they needed to bring adventurers to the land beyond the 10th floor and find things that could only be found past the 10th floor. The man with the long ponytail said, then we need a way to positively appeal the tower to the outside world. An icon that can advertise the start of a new era, just like what the Flame Emperor did. And you're saying that's me, right? The woman with long white hair said, but the Black Dragon still tried to assassinate that icon. Was it the witch from Black Dragon? I don't know the reason, but... The man with brown hair said, the enemy of an enemy is my friend. I understand what you're saying. You're saying the guild that successfully catches me can be the new symbol of the tower's growth. And other guilds will probably have to act as lackeys. He said, I'll feel bad if that happens, so let's do this. He showed them a deck of playing cards. He said, playing cards. I'll join the guild of whoever wins first place in a game of poker. I don't need money or positions. However, he continued, if I win, I'll apply simultaneously to all your guilds. Gongya said, I'll only be a guild member on the outside. In reality, you have to treat me like I'm on the same level as you all. A woman with dark skin and wavy brown hair responded, a youngster who only just cleared a floor wants to be put on the same level as us. How amusing. I accept. The blonde woman said, as long as there's no tricks, I'm fine with it as well. The man with an eye patch added, let's not use our skills either. Or else you guys have too much of an advantage. If you get caught using your skill, that person's automatically disqualified. The man in armor said, our guild is poor, so if we bid on you, we'll lose. This is good. The woman with purple hair said, fine, I'll accept your proposal. Gongya turned to the Sword Emperor and said, Sword Emperor, be honest. You don't like calling me Lord Gongya, right? The Sword Emperor looked surprised, huh? Gongya said, just call me that until the end of this game. The Sword Emperor looked shocked, huh? Can I really do that? Gongya said, in exchange, tell me what cards each of these players are holding. One of the players thought, that's fucking easy, Lord Gongya. The Sword Emperor exclaimed, Kaya, I will accept your kind offer, Lord Gongya. I will even let you know if they're cheating. Lord Gongya is the Sword Emperor with his red hair leaned in, pointing at the cards. Gongya Nim, this one has a straight. You should fold. Kim Gongya smiled, thinking die. The Heresy Inquisitor, a boy with blonde hair, watched intently. This guy is really gonna bluff with one pair. Shame, shame. Call and kill him at once. Kim Gongya pushed his chips forward. Call him. The paladin, clad in armor, insisted, this one's going for a full house. Don't worry, Lord Gongya. I looked under the table and the deck and there's no way he can get a full house. Trust me and go all in. Kim Gongya grinned. I'm going all in. The entire table watched as Kim Gongya pushed all his chips into the center. The man slammed his fist on the table, scattering cards everywhere. Fuck, this is a scam. He pointed at Kim Gongya, yelling, this doesn't make sense. It's already been 30 rounds, and this guy hasn't lost a single one. Bluffing doesn't work either. This is totally a scam. Do you have any evidence? Kim Gongya held up 2 fingers. I could be a master poker player. I'll feel bad if you accuse me with no evidence, Sunbi. Another man looked at the accuser and said, look at how he's gloating. There's no way this guy is an F rank. Kim Gongya seemed surprised. Wow, how did you know I wasn't an F rank? I didn't have a chance to report IT, but I moved up to E rank just yesterday. I knew IT. I knew something, huh? Kim Gongya looked at the man who had been accusing him. Thanks for the praise. By the way, did you use up all your chips, mister? Gatekeeper. The man looked down, speechless. A blonde man at another table waved. Welcome, Heavenly Gatekeeper. I thought IT was about time that the Heavenly Gates should be thrown out. A waiter offered the Gatekeeper an espresso. So I ordered you another espresso. Please accept IT. The Gatekeeper refused. I said I don't want IT. The waiter insisted yes. I know. You must overcome IT. Someone yelled, you fucking religious hack. The Gatekeeper, in his armor, sat at the poker table. The Gatekeeper threw down his cards. I lose. I'm pretty confident in my poker face. Are you using a mind-reading skill? The man across from him smirked. IT could be mind-reading. IT could be X-ray vision. Try to figure IT out. New guys nowadays are pretty tough. The waiter shouted at the gatekeeper. Hey, how could you give up so easily, you bastard? He continued, whether IT works or not, you should keep going at him. You're just gonna let that cheater go. Another man commented, cheater. Harsh words to call the new hero. You can tell that he's using a skill though. The heavenly gatekeeper said, I knew from the beginning. What? He continued, it'd be weird to not notice. You think a newbie would suggest a game and bet IT all on luck? I will deal the cards. The man with dark hair said, the fact that he challenged us with a game means I will beat you without you being able to notice my skill. And we accepted that challenge. The man with an eye patch shouted at the heavenly gatekeeper, Heavenly gatekeeper, I get that you like to focus on your martial arts, but please use your head from time to time. The man with dark hair said, from the start, we had nothing to lose. If we won, it'd be great, but losing has its own merits. The man with the eye patch yelled, but think about your pride. How can that newbie stand alongside our ranks? The heavenly gatekeeper asked, does your pride put food on the table? A blonde woman shoved an espresso in the face of the man with the eye patch, saying, IT feeds you espresso. Drink up. The man with the eye patch yelled, fuck you. The man with the dark hair held up his cards and said, I'm glad. Why? The woman with the purple hair responded, that you're a reasonable person. She continued, I'm from Ukraine. Well, more like the place that used to be Ukraine. The woman explained, after losing my family in the Civil War, I've lived as a foreigner my whole life. Whether it's here or the outside world, it's no place for a girl to live alone. The man replied, you're right. I'm calling. So what are you trying to say? She went on, the people in the tower, especially those of the first generation, all have stories. I'm also just a normal orphan. The red-haired man behind her made a diamond shape with his hands. The woman finished, diamond flush over there. This tower might as well be my homeland. The woman with purple hair explained, at the tower we never ask people for their origins. That's the kind of world we've made. The fact that I'm Ukrainian, that you're Korean, that Viper is Chinese. She continued, at the tower none of that is important. The woman with brown hair said, because of the tower we can all understand each other's words. Here we are all equal challengers, at least more than the outside. The woman with purple hair added, the outside world thinks of us as a garbage can, but a rose can bloom from compost. She said, Kim Gongya, when that clock hits 0, the public will hear all about you. Your life will turn upside down. The purple-haired woman hoped, I hope you choose wisely. The man with gray hair replied, good. The brown-haired woman said, not bragging, but I like getting attention. I hope that they praise me and want to be like me. That's all. The purple-haired woman added, you're honest. You're the opposite of the sword saint. The Black Dragon Guild leader had a flush. The man with dark hair didn't have a hand to beat it, but he said, all in. The man with dark hair said, I'm confident. I'll tell you all right now. Clearing the 10th floor won't be my only accomplishment. I'll beat the 20th, 30th, 50th, and the 100. No matter how long it takes, I will reach the top of this tower. The man continued, I respect the fact that you all treasure the tower. I don't plan to fight you all needlessly, to see who makes it to the top, to see who will be the most befitting of a hero. But I will think of you as rivals. He added, I would much rather see the world beyond the tower than the world in it. Honestly, I don't know much about the famine or the poverty going on here. If you want to use my name to resolve those problems, go ahead. He finished, but please help me in climbing this tower. I want to taste the feeling of being at the top. The woman with purple hair sat in her chair. She sighed, holding up a card. She said, I was wrong. You're exactly the same as the Sword Saint. Kim Gongya asked, is that a compliment? She replied, no, it's an insult. You're all greedy people. Black Dragon flush. Kim Gongya full house. Kim Gongya is the final winner. Kim Gongya smiled and said, so IT is a compliment. Thank you. Kim Gongya continued, so I'll be expecting to be treated as an equal now. Can I expect you to carry the responsibility that comes with IT? The woman with purple hair said, isn't the responsibility of a hunter to climb the tower? Don't worry. She thought that Kim Gongya was being flippant for a newcomer. One of the men behind Kim Gongya shouted that if being flippant was a skill, then Kim Gongya would have an S rank. Another man shouted that he felt alive again and called Kim Gongya a zombie bastard. He thought that the word was beautiful. The woman with purple hair was embarrassed that this man was called the Sword Emperor. She asked if Kim Gongya was leaving already. Kim Gongya said that the 11th floor was opening soon, and he needed to get ready if he didn't want to fall behind. The woman asked how he would do that since he didn't even know what was there. She explained that the theme of floors 11 through 20 was roleplay. Kim Gongya said that he got a hint for clearing the 10th floor, but he didn't know anything past that. The woman looked away, annoyed. The red-haired man with the muscular build walked down the street. Story is crazy, but you know what sucks? Waiting a week for the next chapter. Stop waiting and get the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook for completely free on Amazon. It is the highest-rated series I have ever seen. With over 180,000 positive reviews, it has everything we love. Dungeons, systems, and a crazy talking cat. And the best part, it usually costs $25, but you get it for free. And it is yours to keep forever. Click the Amazon link in the description to start listening. People are talking about the 100th floor. There still isn't an official announcement about the 100th floor, right? One man holding a beer said, "Did you see the video of Sword Saint saying it wasn't him? He had a really serious face and said it definitely wasn't him." Another man is holding a sign that says, 100th floor subjugation celebration free beer. Someone in the crowd said, "Someone said they saw the guild masters gathered somewhere yesterday. Who cleared it?" People are looking up at something in the sky. One of them shouts, "Look, 0,00011 seconds." Another person shouts, 10. The crowd continues to count down, 9, 8. The crowd continues to count down, 7, 6, 5. Someone is holding up a phone and searching, 10th floor cleared. Breaking news spreads that the one who cleared the 10th floor has finally revealed himself. His real name is Kim Gon-ya and he's Korean. People count down. A bright light appears. A voice booms. "Everyone, as of today, the tutorial has ended." The voice repeats, "I repeat. As of today, the tutorial has ended. The 11th floor. Open the 11th floor." The voice congratulates everyone, warriors, climbers of the tower. Congratulations on resolving the grudge of the Hellfire residents. A girl asks, "It's an angel, is it a goddess?" A voice told him to wake up, that it wasn't a goddess. He wondered what was going on. The voice said it was just a system that explained quests, like an NPC. Denounced that there was a world that needed their help, a world suffering from the Demon King's invasion. The voice continued, saying that even if there were such a thing as a goddess, this was just a recorded video. From then on, they would be summoned as warriors to this place and receive a mission to protect mankind. The red-haired man asked how they knew that. The voice responded that if they wanted to accept the mission, they should say transmit. The voice said if they wanted to accept the mission, they should say transmit. Someone said transmit. Suddenly, they were being transported to another world. The old man with gray hair crouched on the edge of the building. A woman's voice echoed, "If you want to accept this." The woman continued, "Mission, say transmit." Someone in the crowd looked up and exclaimed, "What the?" It was a hologram. The old man was surrounded by a red aura. The dark-haired man with a red eye said, "I did that in the past too." "See ya, it's an NPC." The old man said, "Transmit." People looked on as a man laughed. A blonde-haired man in a suit said, "I lost again." "What a beautiful day." Heretic interrogator. He smiled, "Then I'll see everyone on the 11th floor." Transmit. People began to transmit. A message appeared. "Warriors climbers of the tower. From the 11th floor to the 20th floor, you will be met with a test of faith." The message continued, "You must find your answer. The answer you find will again reveal who you are." The message finished, "You must know yourself." A knight stood beside the main character. The knight said, "What a shame. A shame. Think about it." The knight expressed, "Whoever made the tower put a lot of effort into making it. That's also a message they left for us. But no one cares." People should have looked at this with a little more emotion and admiration. The tower's existence and skills, these are all an amazing miracle. Knight continued, "But we've already become used to everything on the 10th floor." The main character thought that the knight was unexpectedly a sensitive person. The knight smiled and asked, "I majored in music in the outside world. Do I seem more charming after hearing I'm a woman who majored in music?" The main character laughed. "Sounds like it'd be hard to earn money. Haha, your facts hurt." The knight then said, "Hey zombie." The zombie warned, "Be careful. This human is suspicious." The main character sighed, "Ugh, what now?" The knight smiled, "Are you the hunter Kim Gong-ya?" "Oops, I guess the attention turned to us cause of me. Sorry, Kim Gong-ya. I'll see you on the 11th floor." Surrounded by reporters, the main character yelled, "Hunter Kim Gong-ya Nim." "Wait, is this why you approached me?" The armored hunter with a glint in his eye responded, "It's because I have the ability to read people. Think of it as a way of showing my interest." He asked the dark-haired hunter, Then what kind of person do you think I am?" The armored hunter smiled, replying, "That answer is in your heart." Transmit. The dark-haired hunter watched her run away, exclaiming, "She just ran away." "What did I say, zombie? I told you she was suspicious." Reporters swarmed the dark-haired hunter, shouting questions. "We're from Open Gate News. Please answer a few of our questions." Hunter Kim Gong-ya, is it true that you cleared the 10th floor on your own? People are saying that your simultaneous memberships to the guilds is a plan set by the large guilds. Overwhelmed, the dark-haired hunter thought, I have to go to the 11th floor. What should I say? The reporters continued their barrage. What is your relationship with civil militia? Are you really an E-class? He declared to the reporters, I'm going to clear the 20th floor too. The armored hunter waved, then good work everyone. Transmit. The reporters yelled what? Wait. Hunter Nim. Climbers of the tower, may luck stay on your side. Two men stand on some cracked earth. A man with white hair and a neatly trimmed white beard stares forward. Arrows fly through the air as someone yells, "What is don't step back?" The white-haired man stands in front of a giant monster as he yells, "Stop the Demon King!" The battlefield was filled with the sounds of war. The soldiers were in disarray. "Do not back down. If we are pushed back, the Empire will fall," one shouted. Another cried, "It's impossible. There are too many of them." Marcus, the old man with white hair and suit, found himself in the middle of the chaos. "What is all this? What's going on?" he yelled. "Do not give up. We are the elite." Someone warned, "Everyone watch out for the arrows." A knight in shining armor declared, "What do you mean what? The tutorial is over past the 10th floor. From now, all stages will be like this. Oh ho! Warriors that will save the Empire." The knight held up his sword. "Please help us and save the Empire." A man with brown hair and red eyes listened intently. "This port is the final lifeline of the Empire. For the capital to continue to get support, we must secure IT. People in the front, please be quieter. We can't hear from back here. At least you've learned how to increase your vision and hearing." A quest appeared, "Warriors from another world. Please lend your strength to the Egypt Empire." Quest, secure the supply line. Difficulty, FA. Objective, disaster has struck the Egypt Empire. The Demon King, the monster from the legends, has finally raised an army. The Demon King is cunning, evil, and strong. He wants to cut off the Empire's supply line first. Secure the port. This will be the first step in saving the Empire. On failure, the 12th floor will not be opened. A blonde woman looked shocked. "Quest, there's really a Demon King. What is the Egypt Empire?" A man with an axe yelled, "They're so relentless." "Let me read the quest too." "So how do we clear the quest?" An older man with white hair swung his sword. "I'm not sure about the details, but we just have to take these things down." Someone shouted, "Follow the sword, Saint." A man with black hair charged forward. "Stupid goblin bastards. For 6 years I've killed about 6,000 of your kind." Kim Gongya stood among the chaos. People around him shouted, "Destroy them. Kill them. Stay calm and push them back." A system window appeared before him. "Welcome, Hunter Kim Gongya." Kim Gongya received a system notification. "Here is your reward for clearing the 10th floor." Kim Gongya looked at a map. Kim Gongya thought, "Oh, I knew there would be some OP special privilege. You can't even train yourself, so you're resorting to these cheap skills." A system notification appeared. "Hidden stage bonus. God's blessing is upon you." Kim Gongya saw another system notification. "You now have access to all NPC's abilities and locations from the 11th to the 20th floor. Hidden stage bonus. The merchant God's blessing is upon you." Kim Gongya was surprised. Kim Gongya noticed yet another system notification. "You may select one item that exists in the 11th to 20th floors and own it." Kim Gongya said, "Ah, this shitty loot-based game. This is a completely skill-based game." The tower has set themes for the floors. The 1st to 10th floor is a tutorial. It's a city for the beginners to adjust to the tower, and the hunting grounds are set. From the 11th to the 20th is a Demon King quest. To beat the Demon King, there were 2 options. One was to have enough power to take on the army, or lead an army himself. The man with red hair asked if he was going to take the second option, and if he had the talent or had ever led an army. He said of course not, but he could make a talent. His stats appeared. Rank E, skill 5/5, I want to be like you S+, Returner's Clockwork Watch X, Sword Master A+, Go by High Society F, be aware of fire or asleep A. The man asked the Sword Emperor if he said this game was a shitty luck-based game. The Sword Emperor replied, "Yay, I did." "You little shit." Sword Emperor said, "I'll show you now why this is a completely skill-based game," and brought up a list of NPCs including Inju, a conscription soldier on the 11th floor, Seraph, a normal soldier also on the 11th floor, Sort, a serf on the 1st floor, Lapi Kisabella, a sergeant on the 14th floor, and Doff, a blacksmith on the 12th floor. He then showed only the NPCs on the 11th floor. From those, he showed the top 100 in skill, including Ka/Slasha and Karya, both normal soldiers on the 11th floor. The man said, "Hey, zombie, this really isn't right. Let's just take small steps to get stronger. I know you're a little cheater, but this is crossing the line. Aren't you embarrassed of yourself?" The Sword Emperor replied, "No, not at all." Then he showed the NPCs with skills to lead soldiers. He showed only the top 3. Rohan Penbasa, Captain of the Knights, Sarbaz Ejim, Concord Division Commander, and Jeshuko. He then showed these 3 people's locations on the map. He showed his location on the map as well. The Sword Emperor asked, "How is that?" The man smirked, thinking, "Still not a skilled game. This decent privilege has turned into a really good privilege. Isn't it all based on how you use your wits?" The red-haired man yelled, "You're joking. How is that wits? That's just cheap." He thought, he being cheap is also a skill. He looked at the map, the closest place to this blue dot. He saw the armored knight. "This NPC, Commander Sarba's Ejim. The armored knight exclaimed, "Oho, warrior from another world, what is your business?" "Nice mustache." The knight continued, "You must have a nice skill as well. If you believe that I'm a warrior, I have something to ask of you." The man thought, "Run. You stupid NPC. This guy is a scammer." The knight said, "Please tell me if I am able to, I will try my." The knight asked Sarbas to please kill me. "Huh." The knight explained, "I actually have a secret ability." "Oh, such thing. If I die, the entire battlefield receives a blessing from God." He continued, "It's kind of a suicide skill. As long as this blessing activates, the Empire will win." Sarbas thought, "What kind of blessing? But to kill a warrior, I cannot do that." The knight urged him to think about what is more important. "If you do not kill me, I will do so myself. This is the greatest way to help the Empire. I am just requesting your help." "Requesting." The knight said, "You are the commander in charge of the harbor city. Rather than to end my own life or die to a monster's hands, I would rather die in the hands of a patriot and a skilled leader." The knight pleaded, "There isn't much time, please. No matter how important the Empire is, to have to take the life of a man who came from another world to lend their help." Sarbas wondered, is he really believing that? The knight said, "Oh, this world is a cursed one. For the army of the Demon King to attack us, and to have to take the life of a warrior like this. I think your brain is the one that's cursed." The knight raised his sword and said, "Oh God, do not forgive us our sins. I will at least send you off with no pain." "I thank you truly." The knight asked, "Please tell me your name." Kim Gongya replied, "Kim Gongya." The knight repeated his name and said, "I thank you on behalf of the Empire." The knight said, "You are a true warrior." Kim Gongya died. There is a saying. He completely copied NPC Sarba's Ejim's skill. He shouted, "For every person who runs, there is someone who flies. Stupid goblin bastards. For 6 years, I've killed about 6,000 of your kind." There is also this saying. The crowd watched in shock. Someone in the crowd said, "For every hunter that uses his sword, there is a hunter that uses soldiers." Another person asked, "What kind of hunter is he? Why is he riding that?" Kim Gongya acquired a new skill, Battlefield Insight Rank B. This skill, copied from NPC Sarbast Ejim, gave him an exceptional understanding of the battlefield, allowing him to instinctively sense advantages, disadvantages, and weak points in the enemy's defenses. Kim Gongya told the paladin, "This is the ability I created. If you keep going straight and right, you'll find the demon army's general. There are some monsters around, but it'll be okay. Just wipe them out." The paladin responded with excitement, "Ooh. Understood." The soldiers cheered, "The goddess's hero will protect us." Kim Gongya thought about how this skill allowed him to pretend to be a military expert and gain the trust of the general, ordering them to wipe out the enemy. Leading the charge, Kim Gongya shouted, "You fucking goblin shits. Ah, turn right here." He knew this skill was super effective thanks to the minimap. Kim Gongya realized that his knowledge from repeating this day a few times was also helping. He noticed a goblin flying away and said, "Hey, that goblin is flying away today as well." Kim Gongya held up Lifanta Ejim's holy sword of protection, a legendary item, and declared, "Skill isn't everything though. It's the light of the goddess." Kim Gongya held up the holy sword of the founder. Legend said that a goddess gifted it to the founder of the Ejim Empire. Before history became a legend, the founder went missing and the holy sword also vanished, only leaving behind a prophecy. The prophecy stated, "When the fateful day arrives, the one yielding the holy word shall also arrive. One who possesses the holy sword of protection will receive absolute trust and support from the people of the Ejim Empire." The soldiers saw the sword and exclaimed, "It's the founder's holy sword. Ah, God has not abandoned the Empire. All hail the Empire. All hail the hero." Bikion was excited. "Attack. Good. Really good. It was worth clearing the hidden stage, since I got to see this sight." Hwang Juna was angry. "What do you mean worth it? You traded it for a shitty-ass item." One of the team members said, "It's just a hard and shiny fucking sword. There were a lot of epic items, so why did one pick that one?" The man held up the shiny sword, saying, "It's durable, shiny, and makes all the NPCs up to floor 20 go nuts over it." He rode on horseback, holding the sword high, surrounded by soldiers. "Do you get it? NPCs aren't just tools that give out quests," he said. The soldiers around him cried out, "They are entities that should be used to beat quests. Oh hero, please look over us." Watching from afar, a man with red hair wondered, why is he the only one with the general? From his appearance, he looks like a hunter. The man holding the sword heard their jealous comments. "This is exactly it. That voice of envy and jealousy. I taught you aura, yet instead of practicing your swordsmanship, you're using it to strengthen your ears for listening in on people babbling." Looking at a map, the man holding the sword said, "So what if I like it?" "Sue me." The left wing of the demon army has been annihilated. He pointed forward, shouting, "Don't stop and keep charging towards their main forces." The soldiers charged forward, believing they could win. They shouted, "Follow the general. Follow the hero," but then they realized, he's the demon army general. Huh? He was the floor 11 boss monster Goblin Emperor. The Goblin Emperor yelled, "Gogoruk. Goru. Stop them, you idiots." Activating his skill, he prepared to attack. He unleashed a powerful attack, shouting, "Goru Ruk." The Goblin Emperor of the Goblin High Society was rank F. The Ejim Empire celebrated, shouting, "We defeated the evil monsters." The goddess's hero defeated the enemy's leader. The crowd continued to cheer, "Long live the Ejim Empire." Nearby, some goblins muttered, "Karuk, Kararoon." A man with a sword noticed the goblins and thought, The man grinned, saying, "Would you look at these little shits?" The man declared, "Solo hunting is our area of expertise. Kill them all." A blue system window appeared. Stage cleared. Today, the Floor 11 stage was cleared. The system assessed the raid participants. Everyone was shocked. "We beat Floor 11 in one day. Is this for real?" The assessment was complete. "Aren't we too fucking strong?" Maximum number of participants exceeded. "Long live the Black Dragon Guild." The system announced the top 10 participants. Raid contribution ranking: 1. Kim Gongya 2. Sword Saint 3. Heretic Inquisitor 4. Vipers 5. Paladin 6. Black Witch 7. Countess. A man with short brown hair wondered, First place doesn't have an alias. Sword Saint is ranked second. The crowd realized Kim Gongya is the one who cleared floor 10. A man with red hair thought, "Is he like a hidden master or something?" The red-haired man said, "Master my ass. He's just a smart-ass wimp. Do you finally admit that this is a godly game of skill?" The man with short black hair refused to acknowledge it. "Nope, I refuse to acknowledge it. This ghosting." He thought that the ghost really values one's abilities over skills. The red-haired man told him, "I promised to practice some swordsmanship before I clear floor 20, so stop pouting." "Really?" The red-haired man continued, "Of course you think that I would waste my chance to learn from the Sword Emperor. If anything, I should be begging for you to teach me your swordsmanship. Ain't that right?" The red-haired man yelled, "Zombie, you're finally recognizing my true worth. Too easy. You know, the tower that you're climbing might be just a smidge different from mine, but in my world, it's too easy to make this ghost happy." A knight said, "O goddess's hero." The knight continued, "We were victorious thanks to you. Truly, you have my deepest gratitude." The man with short black hair said, "It was nothing. We won thanks to everyone's hard work." The armored man thought, "I was worried about nothing." He recalled a prophecy. Long ago, there was a prophecy. One day, the demon army will arrive. However, do not fear, as heroes from another world will also be summoned. The armored man thought, "However, I was skeptical. Would those heroes truly fight with all they have for a world that isn't even theirs?" He extended his hand and said, "It seemed like it was just an old man's worry. I want to give you a proper thanks." A handshake. Despite being from different worlds, the act of shaking another's hand still held the same meaning. The armored man asked, "Is it because regardless of whether it's another world or our world, humans have two hands? I have great expectations of you." The black-haired man replied, "I'll try my best." A blue system window appeared, announcing that the top raid contributors would be rewarded. The system announced that the top contributors would be given early entry to floor 12. The system also stated that, until the top contributors received their rewards, the remaining participants were banned from entering floor 12. He said, Someone asks if only the top 10 are getting summoned and wonders if Marcus will also be there. Another person asks what he is going to do and warns him that if Marcus spots him, he's going to come at him like a madman. He tells the other person not to worry so much because the worst that can happen is him dying, and asks if they are being for real right now. He says that it's fine because he has a plan. A blue system window appears. Transfer complete. Kim Gongya finds himself summoned to the Ejim Empire's palace. The Heresy Inquisitor, a young boy with blonde hair, says that Hunter Kim Gongya was amazing. The Heresy Inquisitor says Kim Gongya became younger by using his ability. He says he was quite entertained by his performance on floor 11 and how he used the NPCs. He asks if the unusual sword Kim Gongya is using is a reward from floor 10. Kim Gongya says yes. The Heresy Inquisitor smiled, saying, "I thought so. Using the floor 10 reward to blitz through floor 11. Your practicality is absolutely astonishing." Kim Gongya chuckled, "No, well, it's not that amazing." Suddenly, the Sword Saint attacked the Heresy Inquisitor, using a powerful technique. Kim Gongya looked surprised. "What a surprise, Sword Saint. Since when did you become an assassin?" The Sword Saint, with his silver hair and blue suit, said, "Move aside." He continued, "I will be killing that man." The Heresy Inquisitor asked, "Pardon me, but by that man, do you perhaps mean Hunter Kim Gongya?" The Sword Saint replied, "That is correct." The Sword Saint warned, "And if you don't move aside, I will cut off one of your arms in the process." The Heresy Inquisitor replied, "That would be quite the pickle. I have a lot of uses for my arm, and if we let Hunter Kim Gongya die, the reputation of the 5 great guilds will fall to the ground. May I know the reason why you are after Hunter Kim Gongya?" The Sword Saint stated, "I have no obligation to tell you." The Heresy Inquisitor asked, "Does that mean you're not willing to back down, sir?" The Heresy Inquisitor uses his skill, Holy Technique, God of Teleportation. The Sword Saint and the black-clothed man teleport behind the Heresy Inquisitor. They both attack. The Chun Woon clan master and the knight clashed, their weapons meeting with a burst of energy. The Chunwoong clan master said, "Damn pesky fruit flies." Viper, with his silver hair and red eyes, lunged forward, yelling, "You monstrous old man. What do you need to fucking eat to still be this healthy?" The real young ones would laugh. "Even you're past your 40s, aren't you?" The Chunwoong clan master with an eye patch retorted, "Old my ass. Life starts in your 5. How do you not know that?" Chunwoong clan master, "It is true that you are old. Just look at your face. That thing is on my team, right?" The knight, clad in white and blue armor, urged, "Focus on the fight in front of you, Viper. We are at a disadvantage in this fight." The blonde countess, standing nearby, simply said, "MMM." The man in the blue suit agreed, "That is certainly true as it stands." The countess exclaimed, "Countess, please give me just 10k gold." The countess says there will be 15% compound interest, but no interest if it's completely repaid within 3 months. She asks if that sounds acceptable. The countess then says, "You've misunderstood my words. I didn't ask to borrow." The countess asks, "Excuse me, are you demanding charity from a business person?" She continues, "Yes. It's dirty money anyways. Donate it to the temple and go to heaven." The blonde-haired girl thinks, "He's even more of a nasty thief than me." The countess says, "Withdraw. 10k gold." Gold coins rain down on the blonde-haired girl and the man with dark hair. The blonde-haired girl says, "Thank you for the payment." The blonde-haired girl smiles. The blonde-haired girl uses her holy technique, God of Donation. She imbues a holy attribute to strengthen the body. The buff targets are Paladin and Viper, and the buff duration is 300 seconds. She shouts, "Gold shall grasp our hands." Holy technique complete. The gold coins appear. She says that for the next 300 seconds, Paladin and the Chunwoon clan master will be completely different. She continues, "Even if it's you, you'll struggle dealing with me, Countess, Paladin, and the Chunwoon clan master. Also, the Countess has yet to run out of money. If you like, we can test out which comes first, your death or the Countess's bankruptcy." The Countess asks, "Seriously, why do you have to drag my money into this?" The purple-haired woman says, "Let me add a word of advice that will be more than just going after you." She continues, "I'm going to make it clear that I will join the fight as well." Hunter Kim Gongya made an official agreement with the 5 guilds yesterday. The white-haired man asks, "Agreement?" and then says, "Yep." Currently, Hunter Kim Gongya has joined all 5 guilds with the same qualifications as a guild master. A woman with purple hair says, "Therefore, Sword Saint, if you point your sword at him, that is akin to pointing your sword at us." The Sword Saint is surrounded by guild members. He thinks, "This was the plan I'd come up with." The Sword Saint's face contorts in anger. "Do you remember the words I said on floor 11? The red-haired man asks, "What words?" Kim Gongya says, "There are 2 ways to fight against a strong opponent." The Sword Saint is shown crushing an army of monsters. One is to have enough raw power to crush an army by yourself. Kim Gongya stands in front of an army, and the other is to raise an army yourself. The Sword Saint's blades surrounded him, a reminder that a solo player is powerless against a hunter in a mighty alliance. He approached the Sword Saint, saying, "Sir Sword Saint, let's have a conversation." The Sword Saint seemed surprised. "A conversation? Yes, honestly, I'm shocked by this whole ordeal." He tried to reason with him. "I don't know why you are attacking. This may be the first time you've seen me, but I've been a big fan of yours for a while." But he thought, he's not buying it. He realized, the Sword Saint probably still assumes that I'm an assassin sent by the Black Dragon. The Sword Saint attacked, saying, "To dodge my sword, you truly are an exceptional assassin." He knew that, from an outsider's perspective, he was more than just a bizarre zombie. In the Sword Saint's eyes, he would most certainly seem like an underling raised by a major guild, and not just some upstart hunter. The Sword Saint's face filled the screen as he said, Marcus looked around and said, the outside world and the Babylon really aren't much different." He remembered when he entered the tower. Everyone pressured him every day to join a guild. Marcus continued, "However, I firmly rejected your offers. Do you all know why? In this tower, I wanted to show people that one could stand on top by himself." He explained bloodline, nationality, affiliation. Unlike the outside world that reeks, tangled up by such lowly things, one can become the greatest here with just a single sword. Marcus yelled, "They can succeed with just talent and effort." I wanted to deliver such hopes to the people. Yet, what have you bastards been doing? He accused them by saying, "You have all already become stagnant, moldy mudwater." The Black Witch looked upset and asked, "How could you, of all people, say such a thing?" The man with the eye patch yelled, "You survived by yourself because you only cared about yourself. Had you helped out, many more hunters could have survived. You were the only one to not help with the Floor 5 raid, and Floor 7, as well as Floor 9. The casualties could have been cut in half if you had just helped, Gramps." The woman with brown skin continued, "Had you used your outside influence to help the current food shortage, it wouldn't have been as bad. That's not all. The current tower society could have been established much more securely. We're rotting mudwater. If that's true, you are a child without a sense of responsibility." The woman with purple hair shouted, "If you are rank 1, display a sense of responsibility befitting that of rank 1. Everyone went silent. The old man glared at them and said, "You're all grown adults, yet you can't stop yapping. Do you all think I'm your actual grandfather or something? Cut the bullcrap. If you want to fight, fight with your swords." The red-haired man smiled, as expected from Gramps. Like my one and only disciple, the old man said, you guys still fight even with just 10 people around. Don't retreat. If we are pushed back here, it will be the end for the Empire. Someone responded, that's impossible. There are too many enemies. Even the NPCs from Floor 11 were fighting to save their country. A woman with purple hair said, Hunter Kim Gongya, this has nothing to do with you. It's about something more serious than you. I understand that. I really do. Kim Gongya replied, but as hunters, shouldn't we first focus on clearing Floor 12? Instead of pointing fingers and holding a grudge, shouldn't we act better than the NPCs, not worse? Kim Gongya continued, they're asking for your help, even if they might be just NPCs. A vision of a knight appeared as someone said, they say that their nation is on the brink of collapsing. I leave the fate of my empire in your hands. A man with white hair and a blue suit said, how can we, the summoned heroes, put the empire second? Is there really much to being a hero? If you solve problems that others can't, you're heroes. You insolent. Let's focus and clear the rest of the stages like Floor 11. The man in the blue suit said, Kim Gongya is right. Paladin. The man in the blue suit said that Kim Gongya was right, and that it was hard to understand why the Sword Saint suddenly attacked him. He added that it was not the time for them to be fighting each other. The knight in shining armor declared, I'll make a small sacrifice. He told everyone to watch closely as he activated his lie detection skill, which was rank A. The skill allowed him to know whether someone was telling a lie or not, including NPCs and monsters. However, something that the other party believed, as the truth might be objectively false. He explained that the final choice was always up to them, but there was no guarantee that people would believe their words. He announced that he had an ability that let him discern people's lies, and that it was not an exaggeration to say that this skill was what got him to the position of vice captain of the Vigilante Corps. The knight said to the Sword Saint and Kim Gongya, if you two will trust in me, I will guarantee the validity of your statements. The man in the suit said that suspicion was a poison that gnawed away at people, and that truth was the antidote. He asked if this wasn't the perfect opportunity, and said that they couldn't do anything about the distrust that had built up till now, but they could at least cooperate on Floor 12. Kim Gongya responded, to clear suspicions raised by a skill by using another skill. I'm fine with that. The man with silver hair said, Miss Paladin, you are the only one here to have never harmed another human being. All right, I shall put my faith in you as well. The person in the helmet said, then I shall proceed as both are in agreement. The man in the helmet continued, then Sword Saint, please ask Kim Gongya. I will put my honor as well as the honor of the Vigilante Corps on the line and fairly validate your answers. The Sword Saint held up a device. The Sword Saint asked, Hunter Kim Gongya. The Sword Saint continued, you have murdered over 4,000 people. Is that true? Kim Gongya replied, yes. The old man shouted, aha. Do you all see? You lowly filth. To be using this man as an assassin for who knows what. It is false. The old man pointed at Kim Gongya and declared. Kim Gongya replied to your question with yes. That answer was a lie. In other words, he has not killed 4,000 people. He then asked, do you have any more questions? A knight in shining armor wondered, what a weird question to begin with. Can one person even kill that many people? The old man yelled, that's because you guys have raised this young man as an elite assassin. Kim Gongya added, that's right. I am an elite assassin. The old man denied it, saying, that is a lie. The old man confronts the paladin, saying, Paladin, I have completely misjudged you. I believed that if it was you, you would mediate without lying. Isn't that why I asked you at the start? If you would actually trust me. He continues, are you going to go back on your words now? The man in the suit then says, wait. It is impossible that he hasn't murdered a single person. Ah, that's right. It is the truth. He adds, but it is exactly one person. It is the truth. He continues, of course murder is still murder. However, that bastard really deserved it. It is the truth. The man says, not only did he try to kill me first, he was actually, in fact, an unbelievable mass murderer. The man in the suit says, they are all the truth. The blonde girl with the glowing hands laughs, saying, ahaha. What an interesting theory. It would have been great if it was true. Unfortunately, yesterday was the first time we met Hunter Kim Gongya. Kim Gongya sigh. Gramps, I told you before that you'd be doomed by relying on stuff like skills. Kim Gongya tells the man in the suit, all right, I've answered all your questions. It seems like there was a great misunderstanding on both sides. Kim Gongya continues, I'm glad that it was merely a misunderstanding. But Kim Gongya stares at the man in the suit and says, had the guildmasters not protected me, I probably would have died, right? Kim Gongya looks menacingly forward and says, I think at this point I need to receive an apology from you. Kim Gongya asks the man in the suit, what do you— Kim Gongya confronts Marcus, the Sword Saint. I think at this point, I need to receive a word of apology from you. What do you think, Mr. Sword Saint? Chapter 24 begins as the situation escalates. It is the complete truth. You are fully in the wrong. Apologize to Kim Gongya, already Sword Saint. Marcus is sweating, shocked by the request. I am. Kim Gongya wonders how Marcus will act. To that hunter. How will he act? Marcus is furious. Though famed for being clean, the paladin is still a member of the 5 great guilds. Will he claim that the paladin lied? So you are all conspiring together to fool me. Kim Gongya thinks Marcus could reveal his skill card. Or will he reveal his skill card to exonerate himself? Eyes of a detective, though it won't fit his image, it will be the perfect evidence. Marcus asks Kim Gongya, did you say your name was Kim Gongya? Kim Gongya confirms, yes sir. Kim Gongya thought, he might try to silence me by killing me just like the Sword Emperor. If you have truly never massacred innocent people, he continued in his thoughts. Oftentimes, when people are in the wrong, they make excuses or distrust others, just like how the lame emperor revealed his evil nature by choosing to silence me. No, this isn't right. With how the Sword Saint resolves this, he will decide on his own what kind of person he is. Marcus, the Sword Saint, asked to try again, saying, please let me try this again. Marcus apologized to Kim Gongya, saying, I sincerely apologize. He continued, I was in the wrong. I thought lightly and lightly made an assumption, which almost made me lightly kill someone. Marcus explained, up until now, from my own judgment, I believed that anyone who deserved to die should be purged from this world, even if just a second sooner. I killed according to my beliefs. Marcus finished, stating, however, from this point on, that shall never happen again. The old swordsman thought that instead of doubting the paladin or making excuses with his skills, words alone are useless. He said, if there is anything you desire, I shall do it. He thought that instead of killing him to silence him, he instead accepted his faults, adding that at least, that would be the gentlemanly thing to say. He pleaded without hesitation to the greenhorn hunter, however, please spare me from taking my own life. I beseech thee, please forgive this shameless old geezer so that he may live on to reach the top on this tower. The swordsman said, I am sorry. I might be in the wrong. From now on, I will never kill anyone simply because of my skill. He continued, and I want to live, so please forgive me. The paladin replied, they are all truth. The swordsman bowed his head and said, Sir Sword Saint. The swordsman asked the Sword Saint to teach him the sword. He continued, saying, well, to be more precise from now on, please accept my request for a duel whenever I ask. I somehow ended up having a teacher, but I don't actually have anyone to duel with. He thought that keeping his promise to the guardian spirit, it would be great to partner up with the Sword Saint, and it would result in his gain and growth if the Sword Saint could be his duel partner. He apologized and said, I'm sorry. Please let me try this again. The Sword Saint said, to be honest, I could forgive you without any payment. However, the Sword Saint continued, I would feel embarrassed. The swordsman thought that he would feel content with just someone as great as the Sword Saint not viewing him as his enemy. The woman with purple hair said, swords were crossed, so I feel a bit ashamed to forgive you pretending to be the bigger man. Kim Gongya blushed as he said, that's why I want you, the Sword Saint, to teach me your best sword technique. Fucking hell, I feel so embarrassed. How was the Sword Saint able to let out all his feelings like that? The knight in shining armor was shocked, saying, unbelievable. Someone noted that it was all the truth. The man with the eye patch asked, are you being serious? You're okay not asking for anything, but you won't, because you're too embarrassed to act all high and mighty. The purple-haired woman said, how should I say this? After watching children immaturely preoccupied with self-profit, it is surprising to see someone like Hunter Kim Gongya after so long. The blonde-haired kid exclaimed, woo, how beautiful of a sight is this? The blonde-haired kid said, someone who earnestly apologizes with someone who earnestly forgives. Humans fight without end. That is why a true apology is a holy miracle. Someone yelled, stop being so noisy and shut the fuck up. Another person replied, yep. A woman with long brown hair said, I hate to say this after such a happy ending, but doesn't this mean that my 10k gold was wasted for nothing? For me to have, an old man with white hair exclaimed, misunderstood such a kind young man. Gongya replied, excuse me. The old man grabbed Gongya's hand and said, you wanted a dual partner. Of course, it would be a pleasure. I would be elated to do so any time. Gongya replied, Voom. Sir Sword Saint. The old man exclaimed, please call me Grandpa Marcus. Gongya replied, pardon. Marcus asked Gongya, how old are you, young man? You can't be older than 30. In the outside world, I have a very kind granddaughter. If she ever enters the tower, I promise to sell her on your charms. Gongya said, Voom, I'm really okay. Marcus asked, are you currently implying that you're not interested in my granddaughter? Gongya replied, yes. I'm sorry, but I'm just not interested at all in seeing someone. Marcus wouldn't take no for an answer. Nonsense. The spring of love cannot be absent from youth. When you are in love, you are able to see what you couldn't before, such as your own depravity. Do you know how important it is to acknowledge your own depravity? It was the year I'd become 16. Someone off-panel commented about Marcus. What did I say? I told you he was a boomer geezer. Do you know what a boomer is? Someone is a boomer when they won't listen to others. If it were to be put nicely, you could say he has a spine. He has such a spine that he might ascend to godhood with it. Marcus continued to ignore Gongya's wishes, grabbing him by the collar. Anyway, do not worry, young man. I didn't know that. nor did I want to find out. From now on, I promise to properly look after you. Your clothes are very shabby. Let's start with a suit. Gongya was at his wit's end. He thought, should I just fucking kill myself and start today over? A blue system window appeared. Welcome, Hunter Kim Gongya. You ranked first while clearing floor 11. Another system window appeared, receiving floor 11 clear reward. Marcus was still talking. I know a highly skilled tailor. Are you listening, young man? Since I ranked first, it's rewarding me first. Gongya thought, I did hear about the clear conditions for floors 12 to 20 before my return. I wonder what the reward will be. A system window appeared. Please pick from the following 2 rewards. A system window explained the goddess of protection's reward. The goddess was deeply moved by his efforts and offers an important position in the empire. He could become the empire's chancellor, great general, or even head knight. Once he selected a position, he'd receive abilities and status befitting the role. The system urged him to gather forces with his fellow heroes and destroy the Demon King's core on floor 20. But he couldn't choose the goddess's reward if he chose the Demon King's reward. He thought, this I've heard of. The theme from floor 11 to floor 20 was role-playing. Hunters would take up positions within the Ejim Empire and receive abilities and status of said positions. The top contributors of the previous stage were given the exclusive right to select the special positions before anyone else. The system showed the special classes available for floor 12. Ejim Empire's Chancellor, Great General, Minister of Finance, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Head Knight, and Head Royal Bodyguard. He thought, before I could only choose from positions like Security Guard A. He wondered, but what is this Demon King's reward? The system explained the Demon King of the Autumn Rain's reward. The Demon King was deeply moved by his efforts and asked for his cooperation in secrecy. The Demon King promised the exact same reward as the goddess, but with one additional gift. Kill all the top 10 heroes except for himself. If he achieved such a feat, the Demon King's authority would immediately ascend him to floor 99. However, only one person out of the top 10 may receive the Demon King's reward. If multiple people chose this reward, it would randomly select one person. If no one chose this reward, the Demon King's reward would perish. The system reiterated the Demon King's offer. Kill all the top 10 heroes except for himself. If he achieved such a feat, the Demon King's authority would immediately ascend him to floor 99. However, only one person out of the top 10 may receive the Demon King's reward. Kim Gongya stared ahead, surprised. What? Why is he suddenly staring into thin air? If I kill everyone here, I can make my way to floor 99 in one go. A blue system window appeared before Kim Gongya. It said, Hunter Kim Gongya. The Demon King of Autumn Rain offered him a deal, kill all of the top 10 except for himself. He would get the same reward, but even better. Then, the Demon King would use his power to immediately send him to floor 99. But only one of the top 10 would receive the reward. If multiple people chose the reward, only one would be chosen at random. If no one chose it, the reward would disappear. It prompted him. Kim Gongya is presented with 2 rewards and thinks, it's a trap. He continues, it's most definitely a trap. Zombie, don't fall for it. I know, of course it is. Because Kim Gongya realizes there's no way the Flame Bastard wouldn't have chosen the Demon King's reward. Kim Gongya thinks that the Flame Emperor would have hidden the Demon King's reward. He wonders why the Flame Emperor was hanging out on the 40th floor and not the 99th. He deduces that the Demon King's reward has to be a trap. Kim Gongya thinks that the Flame Emperor decided to side with the Demon King and then regressed upon realizing that it's a trap. He admits, but to be honest, it does look tempting. Kim Gongya wonders, maybe it wouldn't be a terrible idea to die to the boss of the 99th floor once. Gongya, the Sword Emperor suddenly tells Kim Gongya, don't do it. The Sword Emperor warns him, look at me. I'm the Sword Emperor. I climbed to the 99th floor alone and failed. And I'm telling you that this is a trap. A revoltingly horrid one at that. The Sword Emperor continues, with your current skills, not only are you unable to kill the top 10 rankers, even if you were to somehow find a way to do so, you'd never be able to beat the 99th floor. Kim Gongya asks, is the boss of the 99th floor really that strong? The Sword Emperor replies, there isn't one. There's no boss monster on the 99th floor, but instead, there's something much more vicious. Ugh. The Sword Emperor says, anyways, it's a trap. Don't say I didn't warn you. Just what is it? I've never seen you act like this. You're scaring me. The Sword Emperor admits, I hate to admit it, but you're doing well. Just keep doing what you've been doing, and you'll be able to clear the 99th floor automatically. Kim Gongya remains silent. The man declared, all right, we're throwing this run. Someone asked, throwing it. The man with red hair replied, yep, I'm only going to take the safest routes. I'm ignoring the rewards too. I'll just watch how things go for now. He continued, the Goddess of Protection's reward too. Why? There's no need to go that far. He said, it's fine. Just think of it as losing the battle to win the war. Everyone, the rewards for the 11th floor have appeared in front of me. Someone responded, really? That's great. The man stated, I was just getting tired of waiting for the quest. Once you choose your reward, it'll continue through the queue to through the next person. The woman with purple hair replied, yep, I've already chose my reward. The man shocked everyone when he said, I decided not to choose one. A blue system window appeared. You did not select a stage reward. Someone asked, what? The goddess of protection questioned his decision, while the demon king of autumn rain laughed menacingly. The goddess of protection looked surprised, asking, Kim Gong-ya, what did you just? The gray-haired man, rank 2, said, so I guess it's my turn now as rank 2. I see it now as well. I see. I understand now. So you've selected the safest choice. The man with dark hair replied, but was it really necessary to give up on a reward altogether? Perhaps it's just a foolish old man's concern, but being overly cautious can also lead to defeat. I'm grateful for your concern, but I have no regrets. The gray-haired man responded, well, that's a relief, but it's a decision I have trouble following. I will be choosing the goddess of protection's reward, and I'll choose the grandmaster of the Ejim Empire. Knights in full armor declared, we pledge allegiance to the mightiest swordsman of the empire. The blonde girl with curly hair said, oh-ho, so this is how the roles are decided. The blonde girl with curly hair continued, I see. I understand as well. It's similar to the Mafia game. She then added, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. The blonde girl declared, no need to worry. I shall explain it to you. She stood up and announced, pay attention now, everyone. The man with the eye patch asked, the 99th floor. Really? The girl with purple hair said, this is. Yep, it's just like the Mafia game. The blonde girl continued, for our convenience, let's refer to those who chose the goddess as knights, and those who chose the demon king as traitors. The armored man stated, but there does exist a significant difference from the Mafia game. The traitor has much more of a disadvantage than the Mafia. There are 9 knights as well as the vice guild master of the civil militia on our side. He added, that's true, and we can tell who the traitor is, as long as you guys trust me. The blonde girl said, as you can see, this is a game that's heavily skewed in favor of the knights. Hunter Kim Gong-ya, your decision to give up the reward seems to have been unnecessary. The blonde girl announced, while I respect your decision, I will choose the Supreme General of the Empire. We pledge allegiance to the highest flag of the Empire. A man with an eye patch responded, so you're saying that it's best to choose a reward, right? Well, I'm choosing the captain of the guards. Another man said, then I will choose the director of foreign affairs. It looks to be the most ordinary. A woman with purple hair declared, I'll be the chancellor then. I trust you all won't side with the demon king. The reward will disappear on its own if nobody chooses it. A woman with long brown hair smiled and said, don't worry, it'll be the director of financial affairs for me, obviously. A blue system window appeared, indicating that the rewards distribution had ended. A man with red hair asked, you sure this is okay? I know you said you're throwing this run, but isn't this too much? The other man replied, nope. I'm sure this is the answer. He thought about when to hunt the prey and when to surrender the hunt and back off. A system window appeared, stating that all top contributors had completed their selections and listing Kim Gong-ya's titles. Sword Saint, Heretic Questioner, Viper, Crusader, Witch, Countess. A system window appeared, showing that one person forfeited their rewards. The goddess's reward was received. 8 people chose the goddess's reward. The Demon King's reward was received by 1 person. All top contributors had completed their selections. A woman with purple eyes shouted, you fools, I told you not to choose the Demon King's reward. A blonde woman with blue eyes said, what a surprise to choose the Demon King's reward when the odds are so oppressively against you. A man with white hair and glasses said, fuck, this tension. It's just like when we cleared the first parts of the tower. I'm getting chills down my spine. There'll be heads rolling today. A woman with dark hair holding a fan said, you mean back in the days when the 5 great guilds used to be the 10 great guilds? I saw quite a few deaths back then, and caused quite a few deaths too. Someone ordered, Crusader, question everyone here with lie detector. Don't miss a single person. A black witch with purple hair declared, I shall declare this as the master of the black dragons. I don't know who betrayed us, but to them, I will present the most painful death. The paladin in armor ordered, Paladin, immediately interrogate everyone using lie detection. If even a single person refuses to answer, I will kill them right here, right now. Let's start by declaring that I am innocent. The paladin turned to Kim Gong-ya and said, Hunter Kim Gong-ya, since you gave up on the reward, you are clear of suspicion. However, I shall still ask, did you select the Demon King's reward? Kim Gong-ya answered no. The paladin confirmed it is the truth. The paladin asked Marcus, the white-haired man, Sword Saint, have you selected the Demon King's reward? Marcus replied, swearing upon all my honor I have not. It isn't me either. I don't want to die to the Black Dragon Master yet. Marcus shouted, fuck, I'm telling you, IT ain't me. IT is not me either. Another person said they were all truth. The woman with dark hair asked, Black Dragon Master, have you selected the Demon King's reward? She then said, no, IT wasn't me. Marcus replied, "IT is the truth." Wait, IT wasn't one of the 10 people. Someone wondered, then who exactly is the traitor? The goddess of protection lamented the hero's foolishness. The demon king of autumn rain laughed hysterically and said, "Do not panic." The man in the suit thinks the traitor might have a skill that hides their lies. He says it might sound crazy, but there could also be someone with a multiple personality, and that the dirty traitor might just be one of them. The man in the suit stares intensely at the paladin. The woman with purple hair asks, "You're accusing us right now." The man in the suit responds, "That is correct. Even if Miss Paladin isn't the traitor, it is possible that she is lying for the sake of the 5 guilds." The man in the suit and the purple-haired woman stand before the armored paladin. He says, "Objection. It is entirely within the realms of possibility that I am the traitor." The armored man says, "But the important part is for us to not lose our cool and rationality. Have we not broken through countless trials together before? If we trust in each other again." The blonde-haired girl says, "You're so pure, Vice Captain. Trust, you say?" Those are beautiful words. However, it takes a long time to build up trust. The blonde-haired girl continues, "It took a whole 10 years for us to become the 5 guilds and cooperate with each other. In other words," the blonde girl says, "I'm finding it hard to trust anyone other than the 5 great guilds." A man in white armor thinks, "See their faces, but also it seems quite inefficient to take 10 years to build trust with the other hunters here. Wait, now isn't the time to think about efficiency, heretic inquisitor, I beg of you." The blonde girl uses her god of flesh holy technique. The blonde girl shouts, "Viper, you take care of rank 10. Heretic inquisitor, stop." The blonde girl uses the god of teleportation holy technique. A blue system window appears. One hero has died. He was not the Demon King's agent. An older man shouts, "You filthy youngsters. You're finally revealing your true colors." Another blue system window appears. One hero has died. He was not the Demon King's agent. The older man says, "Nothing changed. If you do not stop immediately, I shall personally." Then the blonde girl uses her holy technique. Another blue system window appears. One hero has died. Another blue system window appears. One hero has died. The blonde-haired priest stands over the body and thinks, "He was not the Demon King's agent." The priest says, "None of the 3 were it." He continues, "We're now in quite the pickle. I was sure it would be one of the 3. However, the culprit is still among us. Our bonds of 10 years are about to crumble apart in an instant." A man shouts, "I told you to wait." The man continues yelling, "I clearly asked you to wait. I pleaded with you to keep your cool, yet as always." The priest responds, "What a strange thing to say, Vice Captain. I am being cool-headed." The priest says, "With my cool head, I judged that one of those 3 had the highest likelihood of being the traitor. I might have been wrong in the end, but luckily, this scene won't be leaked to the media." The vice captain yells, "Goddammit." The vice captain is struck down and cries out, "Hey, religious nuthead. Give me a heads up first before killing someone." The blonde-haired man with blue eyes says, "This is quite serious indeed. I can't complete the rituals for the holy techniques without both hands. I apologize, everyone. I am unable to be of any help right now." The vice captain is getting attacked and cries out, "Is that the problem? Right now, somebody help me. I'm about to die." Someone shouts, "Hunter Kim Gong-ya, I shall trust in your judgment." Another person yells, "As the only person to pass up on the rewards, you are the one who is 100% not the traitor." They continue, "So please, I ask of you, please stop the sword saint." The blonde-haired man says, "That's a good idea. Being democratic isn't the best option right now. IT will be better to consolidate power and assign IT to someone who is definitely not the traitor." The man with the brown hair says, "I shall also pass my authority on to Hunter Kim Gong-ya. Until we catch the traitor, I shall not trust in my own judgment." Yo, Sword Emperor. Kim Gong-ya thinks, "Am I fated to be a psychopath magnet? I even received full authority over the reputation from the vice captain and the temple master. You're climbing up the ranks. Congrats. Didn't you sign up on the reward knowing this would happen? I was actually impressed by your decision." Kim Gong-ya thinks there was so much tension between the rankers that he assumed a fight would break out if there happened to be a traitor. That's why he gave it up, but he didn't imagine it'd be this bad. He feels bad for the 3 innocent guys and guesses he'll have to return once. He hasn't selected a stage reward yet. Someone says there's something they want to know, and another person says that's right. Someone else says that he's always been such a person. When they first entered the tower, religion was a big problem. The various religions and sects kept fighting over and over. That's when the heretic inquisitor appeared and he killed them all. Someone says that he's only ever known such methods, calling it a new horizon of peace for religion. Kim Gong-ya thought the religious groups had all peacefully come to an agreement, but wonders if that was just the media covering up for them. The blonde-haired man says that was close, exclaiming, "Shit. Fuck. This one might actually get me." I am aware that my rash judgment has caused quite the turbulence. I am quite ashamed, Hunter Kim Gong-ya. This might be the end for the Celestial Martial Clan, you fucks. On the premise of receiving full authority from me, could you please stop the Sword Saint? Kim Gong-ya thinks, you seriously. No, we can talk about you in depth later. The blonde-haired man shouts, Sword Saint Nim, please listen to me, the one you bowed your head to earlier today. The blonde man shouts, let's stop fighting and talk this out. He continues, I shall ask your granddaughter out. The blonde man begs, if she ever enters the tower, sure, I'll meet her. Could you please listen to the request of the one that might become your grandson-in-law? The Sword Saint replies, I have not forgiven them yet. I'm definitely not pausing the fight just to hear you out. It's just that after crossing swords, I'm certain I can kill them anytime. So it won't be too late to kill them after we've uncovered the traitor. Why are you telling me all this? You're on the right track. You can always kill them later. The masked man asks, is it over? The Sword Saint says, please, let's all be calm now. We don't know who the traitor here might be. We might even never find out the traitor. However, that's not the main thing. The armored man says, we can resolve this crisis even without finding the traitor. How is that possible? Selecting the Demon King's reward means that they'll be aiming for our lives. The man says, take a look at this. You may become the Empire's Chancellor, the Great General, or even the Head Knight. Once you select your position, you will also receive abilities and status deserving of the position. O hero of the goddess, gather up forces with your fellow heroes and destroy the Demon King's core on floor 20. He points out that the Demon King's core exists on floor 20. He continues, don't focus on finding the traitor. That's a trap. The traitor might already be cowering in fear. It might even be that the system forcibly assigned the traitor. So let's all kick the Demon King's ass together. He explains that if they get rid of the Demon King, the reward will also disappear. It's a simple problem, he says. He adds that though the tower may always try to test them, the solution will always be simple. He declares, let's climb the tower and break the Demon King. Kim Gong-ya is given the floor 12 quest. It began to rain. It was a red rain. It was the rain of nightmare. The people panicked. It's the nightmare. The rain of the nightmare is falling again. We're doomed. It's the Demon King. What? One of the men was confused. What the fuck? What's up with him all of a sudden? Oh goddess, where is our lord? Kim Gong-ya realized this is all just part of the act, right? What's up with all the NPCs? The quest has finally started. Kim Gong-ya slashed at the enemies, blood splattering everywhere. A message appeared. The Demon King of Autumn Rain has manifested. A dark figure emerged, saying, "Oh, you poor souls." The Demon King continued. Did you think you foolish plebeians could call over people from another world to use as your shields? Call as many as you want. Bring forth thousands of heroes and even more knights. However, they are still human beings. Just like you, I pity your foolishness that knows no bounds. He declared, those that don't see humans as humans. Then a series of system alerts appeared. The Demon King finished with, may you be swallowed whole by your own evil. Chapter 27 began showing the quest, defend the Empire's capital. The difficulty was SSS. The quest description read, O heroes, you have valiantly fought against the Demon King's army and secured a supply route. Threatened by your actions, the Demon King has sent forth a special messenger. The Demon King can summon a monster army at any moment. The Demon King is aiming for the heart of the Ejim Empire, the Emperor's city, Hakamania. Tragically, the Demon King's powers have weakened after the long journey. Stop the Demon King. If you fail this battle, floor 13 will not open. The man with the eye patch looked shocked, saying, the Demon King is weakened. The Demon King stood with his army and someone said, that's weakened. The man with the eye patch was surrounded by others as he said, hence my statement, this isn't the time for us to be fighting. How? Is this fair? Is this quest even possible to clear? The man with short brown hair responded, I get that it was a tutorial until floor 10, but isn't this too much of a jump in difficulty? Let's stop there. Let's all calm down. We can do this. The tower doesn't give quests that aren't clearable. The man with the eye patch was reminded, we aren't just your average hunters here. Did you forget? You are the head royal bodyguard, so lead the royal bodyguards. A woman with long brown hair said, this stage can't be cleared with just the power of us hunters alone. Rally the NPCs and lead them. Treat them like they are real people and lead them into battle. The head knight said, we shouldn't fight amongst ourselves, Sword Saint Nim. You are the head knight. How can we defend the nation from enemies if the head knight and head royal bodyguard are crossing swords with each other? We have received the role of commanders, so we must fulfill that role. The Minister of Foreign Affairs said, we are in the Emperor's chamber, but the Emperor is nowhere to be seen. With the Foreign Affairs Department NPCs, please find the Emperor. It won't be easy to lead the NPCs while their leader is missing. He added, roger that. The Great General said, yep, that's me. The Great General continued, I especially hate hunters like you. We'll need to resolve this conflict one day. However, right now is not the time for that. We need the general. Hahasa, but I'm starting to like you even more now, Hunter Kim Gong-ya. Since you said you'd give me all the authority, just shut up and listen to me. Kim Gong-ya was told, the soldiers in front of the castle walls are probably losing their minds right now. You need to get on top of the castle walls and console them yourself. He thought, you want me to be noblesse oblige. Kim Gongya said, no matter what, defend the castle walls. If our defenses are breached, this stage will be over. I have never broken a promise since the day I was born. I promise to defend it with my life. The head knight ordered. This is the order of the head knight. Department of Finance, assemble. The blonde-haired man said, Great General. Yep, that's me. He continued, I especially hate hunters like you. We'll need to resolve this conflict one day. However, right now is not the time for that. We need the general. Hahasa, but I'm starting to like you even more now, Hunter Kim Gongya. Since you said you'd give me all the authority, just shut up and listen to me. He said, the soldiers in front of the castle walls are probably losing their minds right now. You need to get on top of the castle walls and console them yourself. You want me to be noblesse oblige. He added, no matter what, defend the castle walls. If our defenses are breached, this stage will be over. I have never broken a promise since the day I was born. I promise to defend it with my life. The head knight ordered. This is the order of the head knight. Department of Finance, assemble. The blonde-haired man said, then I'll head out first. What is this rain? Is this acid rain? Wow, this place looks nice. It's way better than that dinky-ass port. Kim Gongya, the woman with purple hair, said, Witchnim, call me the Black Dragon Master. I personally don't like my title. The red-haired woman asked, how did you suddenly get here? The Black Dragon Master answered, that's my skill. Teleportation. I can teleport to anywhere that's within my range of vision. Hey zombie, you should die to her just once. Teleportation sounds like a sick skill. The blonde-haired man said, then I'll head out first. What is this rain? Is this acid rain? Wow, this place looks nice. It's way better than that dinky-ass fort. Kim Gongya, the woman with purple hair, said, Witchnim, call me the Black Dragon Master. I personally don't like my title. The red-haired woman asked, how did you suddenly get here? The Black Dragon Master answered, that's my skill. Teleportation. I can teleport to anywhere that's within my range of vision. Hey zombie, you should die to her just once. Teleportation sounds like a sick skill. The Black Dragon Master grabbed Kim Gongya. Then what are you doing instead of getting to the castle walls first? It should be obvious. I'm here to bring you with me. The Black Dragon Master explained that she saw on floor 11 that Kim Gongya has a sword that the NPCs admire. She said that they can raise the soldiers' morale with it, and right now the person the soldiers need isn't her, but him. She asked for his consent. The Black Dragon Master told Kim Gongya to verbally consent that he agrees to teleport with her, because without it, she can't teleport him, which is the restriction of her skill. She added that teleportation should at least be an S-rank skill, and wondered if it was okay to tell him everything, including its restrictions, and if the skill was supposed to be a hidden trump card. Kim Gongya thought it was odd, and asked if she didn't say that he's this empire's chancellor. Black Dragon Master asked if it was strange for the chancellor to pull out her hidden trump card to defend her nation, and told him that they don't have time and to just agree already. Kim Gongya said that he consents to the Black Dragon Master's skill usage, and then wondered what was going on, because there's one more restriction. The Black Dragon Master said, teleport. It's the end. People cried out, oh gods, please have mercy. The NPCs begged, beings that are no different from real people. Sob, please take pity on our souls. Even if they are an illusion, their fears are not. Someone said, is it strange for the Chancellor to pull out her hidden trump card to defend her nation? We don't have time. Just agree already. The Black Dragon Master's skill usage was consented to. But then someone noticed, there's one more restriction. The Black Dragon Master said, teleport. Someone cried out, it's the end. People cried out, oh gods, please have mercy. The NPCs begged, beings that are no different from real people. Sob, please take pity on our souls. Even if they are an illusion, their fears are not. People walked on the stone ground. The Guild Master said, thank you for bringing me here. Starting this. Wait. The Guild Master continued, I can't just step back after only showing you my bad side. She shouted, I didn't become the Guild Master by doing nothing. Soldiers of the Ejim Empire. The Guild Master yelled, stand forth. Are you thinking that the walls made of stone will protect you? You are the true wall of the Empire. A soldier said, it's the Chancellor. The Guild Master declared, stand forth. The walls might crumble, and our homes might be destroyed. However, as long as you stand, our empire shall not fall. The Guild Master's words echoed, so take up arms, the final wall of the Ejim Empire. You are the hearth of the Empire. Until you are unable to wield your swords and spears, don't give up for the sake of the Empire. Someone grabbed the arm of a man with brown hair. He looked determined. A woman with purple hair raised a sword, shouting, the goddess is protecting us. The goddess of protection showed gratitude for their decision and used up all. Kim Gongya stood before the armored paladin who said, you are a true hero. A system message appeared. The trauma of the enemy that you've killed is being reenacted. No one knew when or where it would appear, but the penalty depth was weak. It was a painting of hell. When it did appear, crimson rain fell. A voice echoed, pitiful ones. Where the rain fell, blood soon came after. The voice continued, you were born as humans to eat up humans. Each time a country fell, the territories of men became smaller and smaller. Someone shouted, retreat. to an area where the rain doesn't fall. Whenever the records of each country disappeared, the history of humanity became smaller. The voice asked, "Do you think that is the fate of humanity?" It continued, "I designate it as the karma of wild animals. It just rained." A soldier cried, "It's over. This is the end." Rain fell. The voice asked, "What is the reason why I should not slaughter wild animals today?" Rain fell. Someone cried, "Where is our king? Please save us." And rain fell. Someone prayed, "O goddess of protection." The scribes saved humanity using their old quills and wordlessly accepted their fate that they would one day write the sentence. And so humanity came to extinction. A scribe wrote with a quill. A voice said, "Pitiful ones, master of nightmare." Another voice said, "King of all monsters, get swallowed by your ill intents." At their final moments, the scribes gave it a name. They named it Demon King. Someone noticed the rain. The rain stopped and someone exclaimed, "Ooh, dear goddess." Someone shouted, "The goddess protecting the empire." But he thought, no, it wasn't the goddess. This power wasn't even something amazing. It's just that rain stopped where the light of the holy sword shone upon. "Ah, I did well to stay alive." People were shouting, "All hail the goddess. All hail the Egyptian empire." But sometimes little things were enough for the humans, who only had little things left. Reason why there wasn't a single NPC in the throne room in the very beginning was because all the higher-ups had abandoned the country. Someone shouted, "God hasn't abandoned us." That was the reason why the tower set this empire as a stage, just like how the children who were abandoned by everybody were left in a mansion on the 10th floor. A woman with long purple hair and glowing purple eyes yelled, "Rise." Someone shouted, "That's right. Get up." "What kind of behavior are you showing in front of the chancellor?" Someone shouted, "Kowa Enus, grab your spears properly." "Phew, Kowa Enus." The woman with purple hair asked, "Why are you staring at me like that?" She continued, "Is this your first time seeing someone from Ukraine make a speech?" She added, "There are a lot of communists in our country, although I don't like them. They sure do put out a good speech. I learned from them." Someone else said, "It's nothing." That looked like a joke. She screwed that up. The woman with purple hair turned to Kim Gong-ya and asked, "Kim Gong-ya, what are you going to do from now on?" "First, we should hold them off at the castle walls." "That's right." She explained that the Black Dragon Master's S-ranked skill was teleportation, but even if they teleported straight there, they would probably be surrounded by monsters. She continued, "We must make a one-on-one situation with the Demon King first. We must bring the hunters while the soldier NPCs hold them off. Then we won't be pushed back. And if the Demon King deploys more monsters to forcibly penetrate the castle walls. When it does that," the goddess with purple hair told him, "You should teleport me in front of the Demon King. So you're like a special force." She asked if he planned on dying, saying anyone would have doubted that. He grinned and said, "I plan on winning. Death didn't mean defeat for me." He told her that he had a hidden ace in the hole and to trust him. He added that if she's a hunter, she'd have a secret hidden, and he hoped her blade was strong enough to work on that boss. The shadowy figure said, "You're playing funny tricks, goddess." The shadowy figure continued, "It's too pitiful to even call it a final resistance. Light. What use is light to those who won't harvest the rice grains of tomorrow?" The shadowy figure finished, "The times you've spent caring for those pitiful things have made you pitiful as well." The man's power flared up. "Then I'll show my light as well." He charged forward, a dark aura surrounding him. The shadowy figure attacked, sending several soldiers flying. He slashed at the purple-haired woman, sending her crashing into a wall. Blood splattered as the woman was hit. A system window appeared. "One warrior has died. They are not the pawn of the Demon King." The purple-haired woman said, "That was at the direction of the throne room. The Sword Saint, Inquisitor, and the Viper should be heading here with their individual troops." The woman with purple hair said, "The Crusader would be searching for the king from your orders. That leaves the Countess." Someone thought that person was not the traitor. "For you to die first, you bastard." The purple-haired woman said, "Black Dragon Lord, if the Countess really died, that means the tower is now connected with the outside world. Now," she continued, "we should focus on what's in front of us now." She noticed something on the map and said, "Even a Demon King shouldn't be able to shoot those kinds of attacks constantly. Kim Gong-ya, protect the fallen castle door with me." The Demon King's army changed their formations. Kim Gong-ya asked, "Are they trying to break through?" The purple-haired woman replied, "Yes, that's what I think as well." They teleported. They teleported to the front line. He thought, front line. He thought, there are no allies looking out for me here. Hey, zombie. He thought, for just 1 minute, no, it doesn't matter if it's only for 30 seconds. Hold them back by yourself. He thought, in order to win this war, you must be the beacon of hope for everybody. It doesn't matter how long it is. The important part is that you show yourself holding back those bastard monsters by yourself. He thought, you don't call a human that survives for 30 years a hero. In a time where everybody desperately needs 30 seconds, the human that brings them that 30 seconds is a hero. He thought, be a hero. The swordsman said, I've promised you that I'd teach you swordsmanship until you've reached the 20th floor, right? Although it's a little early, it's time for a practical lesson. The swordsman instructed him, put your back foot at an angle. Point your front foot forward. Now look ahead. The swordsman explained, there are 2 goblins at the very front. Their normal eyesights are bad, and their eyes are even closed because of the dust clouds. In addition to that, your holy sword is shiny as well, so it's perfect for stealing their vision. The swordsman continued, the important thing in a fight is not an absolute second, but a relative second. Use your blade to steal the opponent's vision and gain that 1 second. He said, like that, my 1 second was slightly faster than my heart. Let's go, partner, he declared, and my blade will be slightly faster than my— The sword emperor moved with blinding speed, cutting down one enemy after another. That's one. Take care of the one to your left next. He was killing one after another, killing the next one before the last one even dropped dead. It was a symphony of the sword. The sword emperor continued to instruct, that was only 1 second. Don't disconnect your sword swings. Connect your strikes. It's just like music. A low note is a setup for a high note. He emphasized the importance of continuous motion. Connect them. If you've swung your sword downwards, swing it back up. If you follow that, your sword will flow continuously. The sword emperor explained, a sword's flow is a fight against time. A novice can only dominate 1 second at best. They're done after a single swing. On the other hand, someone with a bit of experience can dominate 5 seconds. He finished with a final piece of advice. Do not lose control over time. You're not done after you cut one down, find the next path. A normal person simply lets time flow, but that should be taboo for a swordsman. Live every second to its maximum. He continued to fight, remembering the advice he received. A swordsman lives by the sword. Did you think living 1 second was easy? You're not actually living if you simply let time flow. You're only truly living when you are dedicating something to time. Gongya, you are a swordsman. That's why you need to live by the sword. He kept fighting and thought, it's now been 10 seconds. I suddenly had a thought. He wondered, why did the tower give an EX rank skill to a bastard like him? He continued to think, it didn't have to be some great saint. It wouldn't have been a problem if the skill was given to a somewhat normal person. So why, out of all people, was it given to that psychopath? He wondered if the tower was unconquerable by anyone, except Yusuha. He wondered if he had to be like that asshole to reign at the top. He thought as if Kim Gongya charged forward, ready to fight. He declared, I'm going to clear floor 20 in place of the Flame Emperor. He continued, floor 32, and floor 50, even floor 100. Kim Gongya shouted, I'll show you. A system window appeared. Hunter Kim Gongya was leveling up. The system window displayed, you are now a D-rank hunter. Congrats! Kim Gongya had leveled up in 30 seconds. The system message said, may fortune be with you. Kim Gongya ran towards the man with white hair. Kim Gongya ran towards the white-haired man, ready to strike down the incoming enemies. The white-haired man smiled, saying, that was fantastic. The man continued, that was fantastic. My name is Marcus Callenberry, young man. The scene changed to a man with long hair who said, my name is Yusuha. Farewell. Kim Gongya thought, this was the second time the rank 1 hunter had told him their name. Different names, different people. Kim Gongya realized that he had become different as well. That's why he was able to do what he could have never done back then. Kim Gongya smiled and said, my name is Kim Gongya, sir. The white-haired man smiled, let us fight together, young man. Rank 1 hunter sword saint, the Empire's head knight, joined the fight. A blonde-haired man ran forward with troops. Atahaha. Sorry for being late. He continued, I could have arrived sooner, but leading the troops turned out to be a harder task than I thought. The blonde-haired man smiled, thank you, Hunter Kim Gongya. We will thankfully accept the time that you have bought us. Rank 4 hunter, head of the temple of the omnipotent god, heretic inquisitor, the Empire's great general brought the troops. This is an order from the great general, everyone. Please slaughter the sons of bitches that dared to bare their fangs at the Empire. He shouted, do not falter. The goddess is on our side. My surroundings are silent. Wuduo. There is only a single thought that fills my head. He is only thinking about moving forward. A man with gray hair and an eye patch said, Oi, good job. It took me a while because I had to bring my guildies along with the royal troops. The man with the eye patch continued, but don't worry. I'll show you why we're called the Celestial Martial Clan. Someone else observed, he's not listening. Is he fully immersed? He's got cajones. I like it. The man with the eye patch, who is named Lyoffen, said, Hey, my name is Lyoffen. You probably can't hear me, but it doesn't matter. You saved my life in the royal chamber back then. Did you think the Celestial Martial Clan leader wouldn't pay back his debt? Lyoffen added, only look forward while you charge. I'll watch your left. I'm giving you the VIP treatment. I've yet to let a single person die while they stand to my right. Another man said, Go, rising star. I'll protect you. I'm sorry for being late. I found the emperor, but he had already committed suicide by drinking poison. A man in armor said, that is fine. Instead of rallying up the soldiers, it'll be better if you just join the battle. Of course. Hunter Kim Gongya. A voice booms out, telling everyone to leave Kim Gongya alone, because he's enjoying his precious time. Don't bother him. He's enjoying his precious time right now. A dark presence speaks, you poor things. The voice continues, asking if they thought they owned the time they were given, and says their goddess has grown weak and they no longer have a guardian deity. Did you think that you own the time that you were given? Your goddess has grown weak. You no longer have a guardian deity. The voice asks who the vermin will rely on now, or if they will prove their own existence. Who will you vermins rely on now? Or will you prove your own existence? The dark figure says that shall be just fine, and tells the witch to put up the mirrors already. That shall be just fine. Show me. Hey witch, put up the mirrors already. The witch responds that she knows, and she missed the first one, but she won't let it happen again. I know. I missed the first one, but I won't let it happen again. The witch tells everyone to scatter. Scatter. Attacks fly everywhere. The woman with dark hair shouts, Sword Saint. Viper. Someone shouts, nice. A woman says, now's our chance. I'll teleport us to the Demon King. Get close to me. The woman with dark hair shouts, Kim Gong-ya. Someone shouts, grab on. A hooded figure says, right. If you don't come, we'll leave you behind. He walked forward, sword in hand, declaring, I'll show you the might of the Celestial Martial Clan. This sight will soon vanish. The people he had been with faded from view as one of them thought, for me to have misunderstood such a kind young man. These people won't remember anything that. They won't remember anything that happened. The red-haired man appeared next to him, saying, however, hey partner, it's time to bring down the boss. You goof just because they won't remember doesn't mean that things will disappear. He agreed, saying, let's go. Like how a person that died on floor 1 and a spirit that died on floor 99 arrived here. He held hands with the red-haired man, thinking that when I return, nothing will be solved. He thought, but I'll be a bit stronger. He teleported away, yelling, okay, teleport. He thought that he'd do things a bit better. A dark figure loomed over the group. How interesting. Are you the goddess's heroes? The dark figure continued, I made you all aware of a traitor amongst yourselves, yet you desperately hold on to your trust in each other, stitching that rag back together. Someone yelled, Kim Gong-ya, don't. Kim Gong-ya said, I'm sorry. Let's meet again in the next life. The dark figure laughed. Ha, so foolish. You might not remember the events of today. The dark figure asked, have you come to kill me, hero? He held up a syringe and flipped off his opponent, declaring, no. I came here to die to you, fucker. A message appeared, you have died. Now, the condition for your skill has been fulfilled by your death. Randomly copying Demon King of the Autumn. Want more content right now? Check out Dungeon Crawler Carl for completely free on Amazon. It's the highest rated audiobook with over 135 hours of pure dungeon chaos. Grab the first book completely free with the Amazon link in the description.